Wait, this is the recording? This is
Yeah.
crazy. Oh, okay. What do I do for an intro? Nobody fucking died. Well, I guess some people fucking died.
This woman died.
She did. Katarina? That's her name, I think.
Welcome everybody
Okay.
to a Cowboy Bebop, bibbity bop, bibbity boop. Me and Kyle are doing
worry.
what Kyle promised on his end of February and March yapathons, where he surmised on his channel that this is the next thing that someone should talk about, and I'm talking about
Is this
it.
our actual intro?
Sure, why not? I can restart if you want.
Okay. Or shouldn't I start? Because it's going to be on my channel.
No, welcome to Kyle's channel, everybody. I'm recording this
Let's
one.
keep it the fuck in. I'm not screaming this time. I was maybe going to say Spike is fucking dead, just because that would be funny, because it's a spoiler. But Jarkey Bacon, they better not be listening to this right now if they haven't seen all of Cowboy Bebop. Isn't that right?
Yep. If you have, you're dumb. Because clearly we've watched it before, and you should have known that as soon as you clicked on this video.
This isn't. Nobody is coming in blind. This is a rewatch series
unless
with
we do
the
movie,
two of us.
and then we are going in blind.
True. The whole, how this came about, me and, we're always doing group projects, and me and Jarkey Bacon, we got to get back to how it was originally, me and Jarkey Bacon talking about Vinland Saga chapters, and then that loser elite already showed up, and then we did a Berserk one time, we don't talk about that. That was a dropped series. Jarkey Bacon hates Berserk. He can't change his mind. It's impossible.
Just the worst.
And so we were coming up with ideas, and we basically came to two conclusions. We should either do Cowboy Bebop rewatch or Steins Gate rewatch, and we both decided we much would rather do Steins Gate. So we decided to do Cowboy Bebop because, you should do the one you don't want to do.
We should do Bebop. I don't say
I just lead Jarkey Bacon to places,
Jeez.
But, it's a good logic. Steins Gate will come soon.
Yeah, we're on our millennial anime, watching spree.
True.
Anything that was good before, like, even if we did Steins Gate, that would be 14 years old, That would be some old school peak at this point. That is old.
I got into anime in 2013/2014 properly, outside of, the great kiddie shows.
Yeah.
So, if it's before my time, it's an old show. If it's during my time, it's a disgusting new show and we hate it.
Yeah.
But true, so some people are disappointed. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was Creedon or somebody else. They commented about how they were upset that we weren't doing Steins Gate instead, but that'll come one of these days. Now, I also strong-armed Jarkey Bacon into doing this in basically 3 parts, which is episode 1 to 13, which is today, then the rest of the series in a second video, and then probably a third video for the movie. We're not sure yet. I don't know. We haven't talked about it, actually.
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking we have to watch the movie after episode 22 or 23, because that's when it's canonically set or something like that. We have to do this properly, Carl. We got to do this properly. Also, I was looking, this fine image I stole from an anime pirate site, and I had a ton of like another whole episode of Cowboy Bebop. Anyway, they had like 2 episodes, like one-off things I've never seen before, so maybe we should combine all those things. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I know there's like a recap episode somewhere.
Yeah, maybe this is one of them. There's Ein's Summer Vacation, which is a 2012 special, and then there's Cowboy Bebop Season XX, which I don't know what that is. Season XX.
Sounds like porn to me.
Yeah, well, it's released in June. What is this?
Of this year?
No. Like, way back when. This could be. This looks like it's a redo episode, whatever it is. Hang on. Yeah.
So did you get a torrent and it came with this stuff? Is that what happened?
No, it's just on a pirate anime website.
A streaming site.
Yeah, a streaming site.
Oh, I bet it didn't even have good picture. I pay for my anime, Jarkey Bacon, so I watch this on the great Netflix. In fact,
I could watch it on Netflix or Crunchyroll. I'll have you know.
Yes, I was going to say, for one of the episodes, I actually had to watch on Crunchyroll because my Netflix, I was doing the classic, it was my cousin's Netflix, but they finally hit me with the, you aren't connected to the same internet, so we're signing you out thing. So then I had to go and get my mum's internet password, Netflix password, rather. So now we're on that one, Jarkey Bacon. So,
Mum's coming in clutch. What can you say?
Well, it's like the family. You get it with the Foxtel here in Australia, which is like our... I don't know if it's cable TV. I think it might be the opposite of cable TV. I don't know what those terms mean. Americans say them in YouTube videos sometimes.
Cable TV
that's what you pay
anything that, you have to pay for the package, which I assume is like the cable that goes up to your satellite or something like that.
Yes,
So,
we do have a satellite.
man, we
Don't
are
come
too
looking for my
zoomer
house.
for this old. What is a floppy disk?
We don't know about floppy disk, Bacon. We're not that old.
Oh my god.
Now, there's gonna be floppy disk in a Cowboy Bebop episode. I'm pretty sure. A
Oh
good one
yeah.
too, but that's later down the line.
It's
The
even better because they say Ebola and then they say something else, which I'm just
true.
like, this is modern day. But yeah.
I remembered that from last time, so that wasn't a surprise this
So
time. But I do
yeah.
remember last rewatch being
Yeah.
surprised. But anyway,
Okay, Carl.
I watched on Netflix. This is
So,
actually important for something we'll bring up later.
all right. Okay.
We'll save that for later.
But I want to. So you've watched Cowboy Bebop twice, right?
Yes, I've got the rundown here, Jarkey Bacon. So I've got
All
the
right.
questions. We should lead with our history with Cowboy Bebop, what we thought, what we think now. Was there much of a change? But also, we can talk about our histories here. So yes, I watched famously, and by famously, I mean nobody knows this, but I say it a lot. I watched Cowboy Bebop like during the starting of the first YouTube channel. Obviously everybody talks about Cowboy Bebop. They love Cowboy Bebop. And towards the back end of 2018, I was watching the great Cowboy Bebop for the first time, and I thought it was boring, Jarkey Bacon. I thought it was terrible.
But you got through the
No,
whole
I didn't
thing,
think it was
huh?
terrible. I did because I was committed, but I remember specifically the Toys in the Attic episode, which is episode 11 that we will be talking about. I remember sitting there watching that episode and like tabbing over and pausing every 3 minutes because I was so bored. I was like, man, do I have to watch this fucking? And then I was like, yes, you gotta fucking watch it. So I got through it, basically. And famously, I think my third YouTube video ever was titled "Scattered Thoughts on Cowboy Bebop." And it was basically me complaining about how episodic things suck and this show is boring, and I'm sure it's good, and I was doing all the concessions and all that. And then
that's not the car.
I don't even remember who. Yes. This is late 2018. This is some crazy nonsense. Right, high school had ended. I might have started it right before I think I had started right before the end of high school. Lots of stuff going on this time. And then like 3 days later, I uploaded a video called like "More Scattered Thoughts on Cowboy Bebop" or something, talking about how I had rewatched the whole show and thought it was great now. And I did this by way of famously, or not famously, but more funnily, a reaction channel that did the whole, to sync up your thing, Jarkey Bacon, and we'll watch the whole episode together. I don't remember the reaction channel. This is from literally 6 years ago. It was not somebody I continued watching after it. I think I must have just looked up Cowboy Bebop reaction. And back then, it was just a bunch of like nobodies who did the whole sync your thingy up. It was a terrible viewing experience. This is before. Well, I guess Blindwave did exist by then. They were revolutionizing the game, but not everybody was up to their standard. They didn't have edited footage in it or anything like that. And a lot of my early rewatches were that way. I know I rewatched all of Black Lagoon that way one time. I think I might have watched Steins Gate like twice through that way. But so it was a proper rewatch. Every like second was rewatched. And I remember every time I was just so excited whenever it was the next episode. I was like, oh yeah, remember this? This is cool. So literally in the course of like 5 days, I had rewatched the whole thing and I decided it was great. And then I believe I've rewatched it one other time recently. Now, I did have a situation where I watched a bunch of episodes kind of in the background while I was at somebody's house. Like, oh my God, I was going to say recently, but it is over a year ago now because it was when I was in New Zealand. So that's crazy, Jarkey Bacon.
That's crazy.
So, and I did rewatch episode 1 because I made a video about it. So I've rewatched episode 5 a bunch by itself a bunch. So it's scattered a lot, at least 2 times fully is what we're going to say.
Yeah.
And
you've
I had
also
always
watched
said
the live action, right?
I did earlier this year. Of course, we watched the live action. And initially I thought it was terrible. Then I thought it was okay. And then the last episode's pretty terrible. And I did a whole PowerPoint about that. I have sort of mixed thoughts. I was kind of annoyed at other people's thoughts about it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very specifically not very Cowboy Bebop-y either. So just quickly, I was like, oh, I remember my thing has always been that I think Cowboy Bebop is like a 9. Because I don't think it's quite a 10. I don't think it connects with me that much where it's like one of my favorite things. But it's just so damn good. Yeah, you gotta respect it, Jarkey Bacon. What a great series or something. That's what the people say.
Yeah.
And I don't think it has changed really much at all. I've noticed some little different things. I have some other notes, but I will not. This rewatch did not shift my opinion on Cowboy Bebop dramatically at all. So those are my 3 questions. So Jarkey Bacon, your history with Cowboy Bebop. How many times have you watched it? What did you think? What do you think now? How has it changed? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I remember the first time I watched Cowboy Bebop. Bebop. It was in 2019, so I was in my.
Nah, I win again. Who read Vinland Saga first? This guy.
Yeah, it was in late 2019. Must have been. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, so I have to realize I only got into anime when I started uni, so that was 2018. So this was September 2018. So this is a year after I started anime watching. And I watched the first 6 episodes and I dropped the series. I remember episode 6 where the guy gets young again because the series is trash, boring, snooze fest. Somebody caught me sleeping. But then during lockdown, I remember this maybe actually I always remember this being a year later, but actually because it's 2019, late 2019, so it would have probably been about 9 months later or so. I moved back home and there was a couple nights where basically I instead of sitting on an office chair at my computer, I was sitting on a couch just binge watching anime on my desktop screen. Like I moved the couch with the sofa from one end of the room to the other. And I'm sitting there and I'm chilling. I'm like, oh, let's watch Cowboy Bebop again. And you know what? It was a vibe. It was amazing. No longer sleeping, fully awake, ready to put it. And I think, at that time, it wasn't very similar. It is the most 9 out of 10 show ever, if that makes sense. There's nothing that will oh my word, this is the greatest thing of all time. Well, no, there are moments like that, but it's because it's so episodic that I don't know if I really, really get invested into the plot and stuff. I do, but it's so cozy, so wonderful, for my memories at least. It was one of those things where I put on my 3x3. I think I put it at my 3rd favorite anime of all time. It's got a 9 on Mal, which is very high for me.
Whoa.
But I don't know if someone would be like, I'm not passionate about it, right? I'm not oh, this is you gotta see it. You won't get me yapping on it like I do with lots of other series. But yeah. And so watching it this time, I mean, actually, before I do that, I remember you mentioning that that the thing in the fridge, right?
Yeah.
And I remember, wasn't that in the Super Eye Patch Wolf video? Why should he also mentioned that?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't remember his Bebop video too well.
But he didn't mention this is when you remember to be an adult. So I do remember the reason why I gave it a second chance was because oh, maybe I'm a bit older and I get it now. But I don't think. I think it's.
I made a video about that one.
Yeah.
A Patreon video. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And that is true because something did happen between my first and second viewing where I was like, well, I'm sad now. And so I was like, oh, now I understand Cowboy Bebop because I was sad.
Yeah. Was it wallowing in sadness, in melancholy or something like that. Yeah. But I think the reason why Cowboy Bebop is a 9, but it can be when people say nowadays if they don't like Cowboy Bebop, I actually totally get it, because I'm it is almost 100% a vibes anime. Do you just enjoy how it feels, how the music feels, how the aesthetic looks, but then also how the characters sound and how they interact? I mean, of course, everything's a vibe, everything, that's just the Zoomer way of saying everything's subjective. But there's something about Cowboy Bebop when I'm if it's not hitting, I won't be able to convince you. I won't be able to logic it out for you. I'll just be sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, on this time round, watching it, same as before. Carl, I've just replicated your opinion down to the rewatch. I think this is more the second time. Yeah.
This is a very interesting case where we are very, very in tune.
Yeah.
Me and Alita already had something. Oh, it was with Honora and Conclave where we both had the exact same ratings and basically the same feelings. And it's pretty rare. Me and Alita used to agree, but now.
So.
Yeah. Crazy.
Because the Pope's dead. You got to watch it. I need to get up to date on my lore.
I saw all the guys in their suits and I was like, that's the stuff from Conclave in a picture recently. So I was like, oh my goodness, Conclave is real. This is crazy. But it is very interesting because I feel like I remember, and because we were in communications back then when you would have tried Bebop for the first time even, let alone the second time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I remember at some point you saying you didn't like it. Because I feel like at some point it was Bacon doesn't like any of the things I like.
Dude,
he hates
you know what I should do? I should go look at our first conversations on
Twitter messages.
Patreon messages.
Oh, yikes!
That would have been our first.
We don't want to do that.
Welcome to the reminiscing show.
I was probably like, oh, what should I make videos about? Patrons? And I was probably like, Cowboy Bebop Bacon, and he's like, no, Cowboy Bebop's trash. We could have had that conversation.
Yeah, that is very likely, and maybe that's why I gave it another go, because you like mentioned it, or I don't know, like yeah. But I mean,
I probably yapped on about it.
Yeah, but I've definitely watched like this first episode like 5 times now.
This is a thing with you.
Yeah, including the live action.
We were just talking about Chrono Trigger before we started, and that's what Black Swordsman. You've always reread that a bunch of times. Yeah, you're complaining.
You get to the start, and I think I remember probably because I kind of rewatched it because of your video, because I made the thumbnail for it, which anybody recognizes this image is in Carl's video's thumbnail. Woohoo.
That is the please don't skip episode 1 of Cowboy Bebop video, which I don't really remember what I say.
I think it's just an episode. Very ironically, I almost skipped episode 1. It's like I've seen this one so many times, but I gotta watch it. I had to watch it again.
That's funny.
But yeah,
I did feel the same way.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. Also, I did watch some of the Cowboy Bebop live action, but I only watched the first episode. I watched it when it came out.
Which is kind of nearly directly episode 1 of the show.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff. I always remember episode 6 a lot, because I remember dropping out at that point. And then episode 5, of course, I actually rewatched that with my roommate just as we were eating dinner one time this year, because he was like, oh. And
yeah,
when
I've literally done that too. With my little brother.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, watch this one.
This one's good. It's got Faye with the jiggle physics. That's what everybody remembers.
With the jiggles, indeed.
Yeah, she's wearing black. Was it yeah, but like then I was watching a bunch, and then I was like, hey, do you want to watch was it episode 10, 11, 12, and 13? So we watched all those ones together. It was interesting to get his opinion as well, because he's watched enough anime, so he's like watched Attack on Titan and various.
Is this one of the podcast people or somebody else?
Well, he was in the boys section.
Oh, so he was the 4th one for that one.
Yes,
I remember that.
Yeah,
I think he was in Mario movie too, right?
No, that was another one of my mates.
I'm getting them confused.
Just because we're all British.
Too many friends.
But yeah,
embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
I'm sick of these straight white males, frankly.
Anyway, speaking about episode 1, do we have how do we want to tackle this next stuff? I mean, do we just?
Well, I got a bunch more intro stuff first, Jarkey Bacon. Okay. So we got some overall thoughts to go through. First of all, another thing I jotted down that I wanted to agree with. You're so smart. Is about the moments thing. It's about how like Cowboy Bebop definitely has episodes and moments that are like definitely 10 out of 10 moments, and like some of the best stuff ever, I think.
Eggs. All I have to say is eating eggs, man.
Jeez, yes, that's one of them. That's certainly one of them. So yeah, that's a very similar. And also in my ranking of all time, I feel like it was like number 3 for a little while, because if you go to the beginning of my shitty Black Lagoon video that has all those views, for whatever reason, I shoehorned my top 5 anime into that. And I feel like it was number 1 Black Lagoon, number 2 Evangelion, number 3 Cowboy Bebop, and then Lane was there and Steins Gate was there. I feel like I probably like Lane better than Cowboy Bebop now. I definitely like Die Buster better than Cowboy Bebop now. Evangelion's still there. What's up? Oh yeah, I love Die Buster. It's like my favorite. The other 2 idiots, they didn't like Die Buster very much.
Yeah.
Elite really liked Gunbuster. What a loser, frankly. But yeah, I guess it might still be in the top 5 now that I've thought it out, unless I'm forgetting something. But I don't even watch anime, so how the fuck would I know?
Yeah, this is the weird thing. Like, I don't think I'd put it in like my favorite things of all time. Like just in general, Cowboy Bebop. It's not like in the conversation. But I mean, like if I get to my now, like. What is it? I have at 9. I have Cowboy Bebop. I have Spirited Away. I have Porco Rosso, Totoro, Steins Gate, A Silent Voice, Vinland Saga Season 2, and that's it. Like, and then I have at 10. I have FMA Brotherhood. So I mean, like, I don't think.
Wait, at 10.
Yeah.
Oh, your ratings here. I thought you were doing your 9 by 9 backwards for a second.
No.
That's why you started at 9. Okay, I see. I understand now.
But then I'd be like. Yeah, I think you know what actually brings Cowboy Bebop so high up, and this is like actually underrated aspect, is that if you just finish the anime, like there's so many banger things. Like a great example is what was it? Heavenly Delusion. Like, it was an amazing anime. I loved every bit of it, but it's not done. Like, you know, it's not
Oh,
like I
okay.
can, you know, it's not like I can like finish it or like even you know, I think that's why the movies might be a little higher up as well. But Cowboy Bebop has an end, you know, and then Orb recently was like an anime original. No, not anime. It was off
Oh,
manga.
does it
But
have an ending?
yeah, well, it's all 25 episodes and then it's done at the end of it. Steins
Nice.
Gate as well. You know, like it's one of those
Well,
things that.
except
Well, so Steins Gate Zero as
Steins
well.
Gate Zero.
But you can like you
That
can
shitty
watch.
show.
Well, you can watch it. I mean, I guess Steins Gate Zero kind of high as
Yeah.
well. But like that's the thing. It's like you got so many. I guess like Attack on Titan, I probably would put up there. Like I would think I like Attack on Titan more than Cowboy Bebop, but you've got so many seasons, and I've all put them at 7 out of 10 on MAM. But that's because you know I get to. I have to
Because
be
the
more...
anime is do trash.
Yeah, I guess so. Must be. Who knows?
We love reading.
Yeah.
Just a note on something Jarkey Bacon just said. You know, Heavenly Delusion, the last 3 or 4 chapter reviews coming soon. You know, I just read them. Bacon. All right.
Oh, nice.
Check out my art on this channel in the coming days.
All right.
Crazy. Big reveals, Bacon. We won't say anything though. Calm down.
I'll calm down.
But it is moments stuff. You know, Cowboy Bebop. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, something else I was going to say, which is very Jarkey Bacon specific, is the only other thing that I have in my head that's a 9 is Vinland Saga.
Nice.
And it's like, right, Vinland Saga, I definitely like Vinland Saga more than Cowboy Bebop. Is that true? Because what I just thought is like, obviously Vinland Saga's plot is way better. And then I was like, the Vinland Saga character's better than like Faye and Ed? And I was like, oh, maybe, you know. Well, but maybe that's something we should bring up.
It's on the day.
Rank the Bebop
that's
members.
The
Here we go.
Members are good. Here we go. Yeah. This is where we're going to disagree.
Faye Valentine. Number 2, Ed Licardi Suvatova by the 3rd. Number 3, Jet. Number 4, Shitty Spike.
You put Spike at last, huh?
Yeah, this loser thinks he's
Jet has always been my favorite in the same way that...
That's a very Jarkey Bacon take.
Yeah, like, the guy in Black Lagoon. What's his face?
Dutch,
yeah, Dutch is also my favorite. And if you also read like Planetes, the Strongs, yeah, basically the old guy is my favorite as well.
Old, wise, fatherly, sad guy.
Yeah, always love those ones.
Path.
I will say though, I don't think I disliked Ed beforehand, but I liked her way more this time. It was.
She's annoying. Here comes Jarkey Bacon.
I don't know. It was. I was watching with my flatmate, and we watched episode 11, the one with the fridge, and we just burst out laughing when she eats the thing at the end, and it's just so funny. It is the funniest thing, and we're just like, and my flatmate actually turned to me because we had the Jet episode, which is quite serious, and then this episode straight after, which is like the least serious thing, and he was like, Cowboy Bebop, now I think about it, it might just do like an
eclectic show.
It does the more casual, funny stuff better than being serious. And I thought it was interesting because then we went straight into the back-to-back double episode, which is where it's like almost trying to be its most serious. But yeah, it's when it's whimsical, it's very good. And I actually, talking about our time this night, I feel like that last 4-episode split was definitely like episode 11. I don't know, there's something about it that, like, compared to the other more jovial episodes, was definitely like the most fun.
It is great. Like, I really like, even though I said that before I was watching it the first time and thought I want to kill myself, that is like a great episode.
Yeah.
And it is funny with specifically episode 12 and 13, they go out of their way for Ed to have a line where she's like, why wasn't I invited? Why aren't I? It's because it was a serious episode and she was on the ship the whole time.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. Wasn't it? Oh yeah, there was a couple funny things. Like that was at the beginning of Jet's episode, like Ed, just after Ed joined, Ed drops down and starts biting their captor, and then I watched this scene like twice by accident, and I didn't realize the first time like the guy was blushing as he was biting her, but then it's like also a homage to like I'm the black dog and I don't let go once I bite. Yeah, you can't get out. And I was like, oh okay. I was like, why is this beginning scene in here? Like it was just stupid.
I've never even thought about that. I was just like, oh, Ed's the little kid, so she hangs out with Iron most of the time, right? They run away together at the end, so Ed's being a dog right now because she's a dumb little kid. But yes, it does have the black dog thing you can.
I was like, okay, so this scene did have a point, because there's some things that is okay.
We don't need points.
I'm gonna talk about another part about another show that Carl needs to watch. It's like The Wire. There's a very famous scene where this one character goes and buys like a nail gun from a store, but it's like an opening cold open, and there's so many cold opens like that in The Wire where it's kind of, this kind of doesn't make any sense and doesn't fit in, but then later like the context will reveal, and it's more just like this feels like a silly gag at the time, but yeah, like that's kind of what that one reminded me of like a bit of the Wire-esque stuff. But yeah, it's weird because they've done all these kind of funny ones, and then there's got like the heavy metal episode, which I'm not like, oh, that's bad, but it's also like clearly not as good for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like her design a lot.
Why are we just agreeing on everything, Bacon? How about you get your own opinions, you loser?
Jeez, I'm getting them out before you can.
It's either that or like 2 or 4, but 2's pretty good. 4's pretty good too.
Which one's 4 again?
4 is the eco-terrorist one, I'm pretty sure.
Eco-terrorist. Oh,
with the mom and the monkeys and the...
Oh yeah, and they get killed. Yeah, by their own thing. What was episode 3 again? Let me.
Episode 3 is Faye's casino one.
Yes,
her introduction.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I know them all.
Yeah, you know what? I could just look at my notes, but I'm actually just going to get pictures of them.
Don't worry, we'll go through them all bit by bit.
Should we just go through
only when we
bit
get through
bit?
my intro points?
Yeah, finish your thing. We're only 26 minutes into this, so you know.
It's funny. This is probably if you're like bang for your buck, this is probably the best part, the overall point section.
Yeah.
I just had a bunch of different what is great about the shows, and I had them all listed out very briefly, which is funny because you said vibes, and the first thing here are the vibes are immaculate. The soundtrack is great. The art and direction is very strong. This is actually a point because I was watching. I don't know if this is a Netflix issue, but when there were CG shots, they looked like blown up and terrible. Not like the CG looked bad, but like it was choppy and stuff, right? Did you also
like
get
pixelated? It just doesn't look right. Yeah, that was definitely like the worst part. It's like,
I assume it was made for like CRT TVs or something, and on there it would have looked good, but now that it's blown up on modern stuff,
maybe I think it's just early CG. It's 1999 or 98 when it's coming out, right? Like it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it's to be expected.
But I feel like I feel like it wasn't the CG. It was like I don't know enough terms.
Yeah,
say,
no,
like
there is things like you, like for example, because we already talked about it, Chrono Trigger, like on those old school consoles, because they were making pixel art for, pixel art for the CRTs. They would do the pixel art in a different way that actually makes it look better.
Like I've seen this kind of perfect video, Jarkey Bacon.
Oh, I didn't. It's just like a thing on Reddit I see, but probably Caniper. So CRT, pixel art, but yeah.
That's why on some like emulators you can have like a CRT simulation mode, but I hear those aren't that good either. So.
I mean, Animal World did something. Here we go. I'm going to send it to you.
Yes, I remember seeing footage of that.
But yeah. So I think you just kind of
hated Animal World, by the way.
All right, it was an interesting discussion.
The podcast.
That's good. That was a good podcast discussion. But yeah,
I see the difference.
Yeah, basically, like, because the CRT kind of breaks down the pixels a bit more, so it looks a bit more smooth. Even though I still think the pixel.
Jarkey Bacon, the type of guy to like Chrono and Chrono Trigger, and when he's obviously the worst of the 7 main characters, you know.
Mate, I didn't say Spike was my favorite. I said Jet was my favorite.
Okay? That is true. So you'd like Frog, I think.
Yeah, maybe, true. Maybe. I would like Frog. I do like Frog.
Or Robo, maybe. Robo.
I don't think I ever got to the point with Robo.
It's like 3 hours in, Bacon. Come on.
I know.
Now,
exactly.
True. So CGI shots were bad, but the art and direction was good. Characters are interesting and not generic. Shove that up your ass, Mr. Gems. And attention to detail. So these are sort of the things that I think are probably what make Cowboy Bebop that good.
Okay, I might need some examples of all these things.
Which one do you want?
So you had a couple points. You had not generic. You had
true.
And give me your 3 points again. Go through each one of them. I think
the vibes are immaculate. We don't need examples.
We've already talked about that.
Soundtrack is great. Jarkey Bacon, let's pull up the soundtrack. We'll go list by list. They're all great.
They are
the
good.
art and direction are very strong. Do you want an example of this
one? Okay, interesting. So when you say art and direction, I always think the aesthetic maybe more than the art, if that makes sense. But the art is good, actually. I was thinking the animation is actually it's strong. You know, like it's very strong, and it's like it's got that stylized, like almost like the Gurren Lagann. Have you watched Gurren Lagann?
No, and Gurren Lagann looks ugly. No, it probably looks okay.
You've not watched Gurren Lagann? I'm trying to, because you talk about best.
No, I just watched all the Nate videos, so you know I already know everything.
Well, okay. Well, Gurren Lagann does limited animation incredibly well, and I think that's what Cowboy Bebop does. Well, it's like in a fight scene, it like has strong poses where, like, you know, it helps trick your eyes into seeing more motion than there is. A couple. I
do think every time I see that first fight scene, that like if I was watching this with like somebody else, like they might think this was trash right now.
Yeah, but I'm just like, you don't get it. It's art. Like it's got this swagger to it that you just don't get.
Sure.
You know, and it's not this like new gen, you know, JJK style, super awesome animated stuff where it's got loads of details. It's just like bam, bam. Wait, anticipation.
I hate new anime.
Yeah, basic.
I have my thumb down right now.
Yeah.
As if you can see it. That's Jujutsu Kaisen right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trash. I will never read the manga.
CGI looks terrible.
But I will stop him from reading it as long as possible by saying I will read it with him. Don't tell him I said that, everybody.
Yeah, we're not even going to shout out the silly Jarkey Bacon and Elite RE discussion you can find on Ordinary RE, because it's not even happening, guys.
Yeah, it's not.
Now, CGI looks terrible. We already did an example of that. Yeah. Characters are interesting and not generic.
Okay, this is an interesting point. Yeah, okay. I'm going to overlap this with one of my points. You watched the dub, right?
Oh, of course we watched the great dub here. We don't watch subs
I was very sure, but for a sec. And the dub, I said this to my flatmate. I don't know if the acting is good, but the voices are good. If that makes sense. The voices are fantastic.
I have a whole point about the dub is coming up in our intro here, so I mean we can do it now.
Yeah, this links to the characters not being generic, though. I think it's all bundled together.
I do think there are great monologues. Like Jet's monologue from the last episode is like one of the best.
Yeah.
About Mount Kilimanjaro and it's something. I do agree that the dub, and it is, if you watch a lot of old dubs, it's usually way worse than this, but it is very janky at points where it's like the beginning of the line and the end of the line don't match up, and like in Jupiter Jazz, there's when Jet is telling Spike not to come back, he's like clearly the animation is not fitting with what he's saying and the tone in which he's saying it right now, and it's like real bad.
And I think also it's interesting because Cowboy Bebop's dub is maybe the most lauded dub of all time. It's like if something
except for the greatest one of all time, you know.
Yeah, of course, but you know,
it's Black Lagoon. You know, we understand. Chat. We just.
Oh yeah, okay. That's way more obvious. I thought you were going Steins Gate for a second.
The great Steins Gate, true.
But yeah,
but I'm terrified Steins Gate is going to be cringe to me when we rewatch it too. So.
Black Lagoon also has this kind of issue as well, and it's really hard to overcome.
Mind your tongue.
Where like actually Black Lagoon is another example where the voices are amazing, the performances are also good, but it's as you said, this is the jankiness, not necessarily where they've cut the lines, but between different characters speaking to each other and maintaining the natural flow of conversation.
Yeah.
And that
is not the case in Black Lagoon. I'm not on that, but in Cowboy Bebop, I agree.
Yeah, and I'd have to think about. I think. Like, for example, like, there are dubs nowadays, like I would say the Heavenly Delusion dub, or even other ones where it's just like, it's just obviously way better in terms of how they've paced out the dialogue. It is just, without a doubt, like, you know.
But the performances suck. Say it.
No, the performances, those are ones where those performances are very, very good. I tend to watch everything in dub if I can. But
it's been so long since I've seen a modern one. Like the most recent one I've seen is literally like My Hero Academia, I think. Yeah. Which is a one that I like. So I don't even know why I pretend to dislike modern dubs.
Well,
I'm just lying.
Okay, so I don't think this for some of the dubs. This isn't true. So like say,
I love the Naruto dub. God damn it.
Heavenly Delusion's dub is very good. What was it like? And it's something like that. But then generally, what I would say is that there is a more generic feel to a lot of the dubs, not because of their performances being bad, but because of the voices they cast. And that's being, I think, even someone like Faye, who has a pretty, uninteresting voice, I think her performance helps her stand out a lot. And maybe that's just the character writing on top of it. That's kind of wanted to join these points together. But like, I understand, like, you're gonna hear what's Jet Black's voice actor again called? I can't remember. But then Steve Bloom, you'll hear Steve Bloom. Steve Bloom does the same voice everywhere he does. But everybody heard him first with Spike, I feel. And so he gets away with it.
Spike is the only one that I know. Well, I know Steve Bloom also does Zabuza and Naruto, but he doesn't really sound like Spike.
Oh, interesting.
But other than that, I think I've seen like 5 dubs.
Yeah.
So I think those are the only 2 times I've heard him.
Yeah, I think part of it though is because all the characters, and even Ed, but like the main characters that are like the focus of the story, are all adults, episode. Right? They're all adults, and I think that is what
I think Ed is the standout performance. By the way, I think it's easily the best one. So
no, I wouldn't actually disagree with that, but it's more like, just like when you watch other animes, there's like young, more like for even like Thorfinn's dub voice actor, who's like did a phenomenal job at points. He does sound like a plucky shonen protagonist, unlike this like weathered Spike Spiegel or whatever. Like there's gravel, there's a bit more character to their the aesthetic to their voice is better, if that makes sense. And it just matches the vibe of Bebop.
The dialogue being better, I think, also helps because it is usually not as expositional as like a Naruto would be. That being said, there are terrible moments at times of like bad exposition dialogue where it's like, yes, Jet, you are my friend, the black dog who never lets go when he bites. I remember you from our days in the Force where we are expositing for the audience here.
And don't you remember, I am the black dog who, when I bite, I don't let go. Because I'm the black dog and I don't let go. It was funny when they added that. It was a bit forced. Like it was one of those things where like it would have worked if they mentioned it in a previous episode, but they didn't. They will have to keep it in the same episode.
Yeah, but that would also ruin like a lot of the Bebop stuff where the episodes feel so segmented. So I wouldn't have wanted them to do that. They just had to write the line better, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of good lines.
That will come up later. So
I'm also thinking
in this. I've got a big one.
Yeah.
It's one of my alerts on Twitch. Jarkey Bacon.
Hang on. A snake cannot eat a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
I have it written down in all caps. That is one which doesn't connect. The first part of that line is like, I was so surprised. It was like, vicious, remember. And then he goes into the voice, and I'm like, oh, this sounds completely like it was recorded on a different day. This is crazy. But, it's so cool. It gets away with it.
And, I think... there's a lot of this stuff. One thing that Cowboy Bebop definitely has is like the really hit or miss like extra character voice acting. Basically, if like
that is absolutely true. Mao in episode 5 is fucking terrible.
Yeah,
like literally, like this is like a PS1 video game. We got the guide from marketing to
it. Yeah, but there's something that's really good. I actually really like the heavy metal, is it heavy metal Rita, whatever her name is?
Heavy metal queen.
Heavy metal queen. What's her name?
Veronica something.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, so hers is really good because she has, this is another one where maybe not the acting's necessarily the best, but the aesthetic of the voice is fantastic. Where it's like she's kind of androgynous to begin with a little bit, and her voice is like clearly feminine, clearly femme, but also has a more like, for lack of a better term, butch characteristics, I guess. Which you kind of you don't really know. I guess like she's meant to be kind of in between, and then you see the picture at the end. It's like, oh shit, here she looks
it's like
more
a recontextualization.
Yeah. So it kind of adds that bit. And the dialogue. There's some bits. Okay, to give a good bit of dialogue, and maybe we can start with some characters like Faye. Like Faye says some stuff that I feel like if it was released now, or she's said it verbatim in the live action, the anti-woke people would be really mad. Because she does hate men a lot, and then she's like, for example, she says, "Men are such idiots," or "Hackers are nerdy, pasty, tubby little freaks," and this one is probably a demented otaku with smelly feet. Catching him will be a breeze. It's like that will make. I'm sure, like if she's, I was trying to find quote.
It would be coded as like specifically politically anti-woke. Yeah.
Yes, and it's funny because like she is. But there's little bits of like Faye where like I feel like her character archetype might be the most weirdly generic, where it's like you're clearly here to be the fan service, but then there's enough little bits where like I'm like, oh no, she's way more than that, like, even in these early episodes. Because like for example, when and maybe this actually ties into her character because I can't remember some stuff, but when Ed's painting her nails and she goes, "Oh Ed, why did you make them blue? Why do you make them blue?" Or something like that. Like, like I'm just like, that's just a really human line that like I feel like someone who, you know, who wasn't a good writer wouldn't think of. You know, like a small like line like that, or when Faye goes from like disparaging Ed initially because she thinks he's a guy, and then at the end it's like, "Oh, you're a girl," and it's in the background or something like that. You know, like stuff like that. It's like small little bits like that. I feel like turn Faye from what could be a really like one note insufferable character, and by like I guess using verbiage from like I guess the anti-woke crowd to like something that feels much more three-dimensional. Has more dimensions, basically.
Strong female character, is that what you want to say, Jarkey Bacon?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Because it's so clear that she's like the most eye-candy. Like there's a load of shots where I'm just like, okay, yeah. Where
it is interesting though, the type of shots it is though, because it isn't because usually when you think of anime, it's like just the boobs bouncing, but it is a lot of like ass shots, which is and her ass isn't very big. It's just sort of like the clothes and how it's like
I do not like her outfit that much at all. Like there's bits where I'm like, if it's just her torso, I'm like, yeah, this is a vibe. And then I look at the whole thing, I'm just like, this is actually kind of ugly. I'm not gonna lie. I think her outfit's kind of bad. Whenever she dresses in something else, I'm like, this is way better. But like the shorts are just like,
especially in Jupiter Jazz, bro. Yeah.
The shorts look like a crappy Halloween costume. Yeah. No, but there's that one shot where I actually remember this shot. This is like seared into my where she's laying on the couch, and it's just like, let's just get like
that's like it's the shot of her thighs and stuff. Yeah, brother. Pretty great.
Yeah,
but obviously Faye's the best character. You know, she's like just like me for real. She's just sad and stuff. You know, and she just wants somebody to love her. Bacon is that so much to ask for?
Crazy, couldn't be me.
But most of that is in the next 13 episodes.
Yeah. And she is actually really annoying, but in like a great way.
No, this is Jarkey Bacon hates women, and I love women, so he was never annoying to me.
Anybody who's watched my podcast knows that is the current. So I didn't like Barbie as much as Oppenheimer, so I'm the anti-feminist.
Jarkey Bacon doesn't even like Oscar Langley Soyu, the literal best character of all time. Thinks she's annoying
because I'm not a pedophile, even though I do like Mushoku Tensei.
My goodness gracious me. We do not say things like what we say about the great 60-something-year-old Faye about silly 14-year-old Oscar, except in the rebuilds when she's like 20-something, but she still looks like she's 14, you know. That's still not allowed, Bacon, all right?
Yeah, well, I guess that's more plausible because women go through puberty earlier. Anyway, on that bombshell.
No, the Evangelion stuff stops the puberty, silly. But that's the whole point.
Jeez,
I don't even remember if you've seen those silly rebuilds.
I've not.
We love them. You know, they're all great.
We don't agree on the only other thing, Evangelion. Though
Evangelion Rebuild 3 got a 9. The other 3 got 10s. So, you know,
wow.
It's just because 3 opens on a 30-minute action scene that's boring. Anyway, we don't. I have videos on Secondary ENT talking through all those movies if you want to hear more about that crazy. But true, the dub and stuff. Let me see if we didn't mention anything here. The dub is very well regarded. The Bebop dub definitely has jank from time to time. It isn't perfect. Kind of adds to the charm like the old Evangelion dub a little bit, but that's not like a good charm.
Well,
have you ever seen that old Ava dub? Because people really defend it, and like
I don't know if I have.
The Oscar voice actress is really good.
Oh yeah,
but there are things in that are just like terrible.
Yeah, well,
but like incompetently terrible, not like stylistically terrible.
I think. Okay, this is one thing I don't like about people with dubs a lot, or like even, I think people if they gave themselves the 3-episode rule for a dub, they'd enjoy it. Or lots of these things that like initially something may hit you as off, and I think a lot like initially when they're talking about like bean sprouts and beef. There's no beef, bell peppers and beef, whatever. Yeah, and all this stuff, and like it's
which is
fun.
A capsicum.
And and it's good dialogue, but then I was like, yeah, Jet's performance is a bit stiff here, and Spike's still getting on his feet a little bit. But then once you get into it, you're like, no, this is them. And there's occasionally bits that will yank you back out. Like you mentioned, like the side characters, or there's that thing in Jupiter Jazz where, you know, it doesn't match with Jet's voice. But another one was like, in Jupiter Jazz where like Spike gets really mad because they mentioned Julia. Like he completely changed his character really quickly, and it wasn't like,
no, I like that one.
No, it's understandable character, but for me, when I like it was too like the acting like didn't follow for some reason. But I don't know. Maybe it's because it was a bit too dramatic. I wasn't expecting it for some reason, but
it is a big shift.
Yeah.
But I feel like it matches like the animation and stuff.
Yeah, it's more the performance for some reason. Like there's just little bits of jank there where I'm like, oh yeah, that's not as good. But then there's other times where you're like, that's good.
There is
good.
Yeah.
I hear
there is
Steve
a moment in Jupiter
gravel,
Jazz I don't
I'm
like.
oh baby. I'm the black dog and I don't let go.
The in Jupiter Jazz, when he hears the name Julia and he like starts shaking Ed, the lines he has there I don't like.
Yes, maybe that's also what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
I do have 2 out of context lines here, which I vaguely remember. I think they're both from episode 2, where it says "killed the dough." No, that's a Jet thing in episode 1 that I think is out of place. I think that is in that bell peppers and beef scene. So, you know, we're just on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And then the other one I think is definitely from episode 2, where it's the 2 truck drivers, and one of them's like, "We're in some very deep shit, my friend." But the way he says it is so funny.
Oh yeah, the NPC characters are just like are the most hit or miss ever. It's just like
I couldn't tell with them if that was the point of their characters, like that they were crazy, because at some point they do like I knew that. I was just testing you.
Oh yeah.
The monotone delivery, I can't tell if it's supposed to be funny, like, or it's actually bad.
Yeah, but that's like the best, because you have the guys who like turn up because they're trying to gamble again, and they turn up multiple times.
Those guys are great.
They are great, but they're like voice acting is like so fast and over each other that they don't quite clock before their scene is over. And then I'm like, you know, it takes me 5 seconds to get you. It's like, who's talking again? Oh yeah, it doesn't match their voices a lot, or something like that. But yeah, it's good.
I can't remember. I think they're only in it one more time after this. Which
they were trying to guess KT's name or whatever. VT's name. Yeah.
VT, yeah.
VT,
Veronica. Yeah. I always think it's Veronica Taylor, but I think that's something else from something else. It's like
I think Fast Bruton or something like that. Some long.
Yeah, it's somewhat. Yeah, the second name's long, but it wouldn't be Rasputin because it's T Bacon.
This is top waifu material right here. Oh my word! And then the doubles had the dumb bimbo as the
bartender.
As the bartender.
She was good. That felt intentional.
You know, it was one of those things that like initially I was like, oh my word, this acting is like, this is the bad NPC. And then it's like, no, that's just her character. And I was like, okay, this is great. You know, she brought it back after like, because she like lets him just leave, and it was like, yeah, you know, you're just dumb. Like, there's a reason why you're like this. Oh, another one which was big. Okay, yeah, Rocco's voice actor. That's how I expect every character in a dub to sound like, the main guy. Like, if Spike sounded like that, this anime wouldn't work nearly as well, right? It wouldn't be the vibe.
Yeah.
But like, that's what you almost expect from a lot of animes like this, even if the male protagonist is 30 years old or whatever. How old is Spike, actually?
Yeah, I would say at 30 maybe. I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
27. Jeez. I assumed he was older than he was. Why is he so sad?
Because his girlfriend tried to shoot him and then ran away, Jarkey Bacon.
Yeah.
Get serious.
Jet is 36 years old. He looks older than that.
That's a little young.
Yeah, that is a little young. I expect 40 for him.
And Faye is 60 or 8. No, she's older than that, right? Because we see her contemporary in a wheelchair really old in episode 24.
Yeah.
I think she's actually older than the kid in episode 6, which is
no
funny.
way. That's crazy.
Yeah, because they both it's the same incident, right? When the
is it? Yes. Okay. Oh,
she's a
I
little
forgot
bit
about
like
that. I
he's
didn't
like an
realize it was the
8-year-old.
same thing. So around 77 years old. That's what Google's saying. Then
shout out Faye, you know, the best gilf I ever saw.
Gilf.
Except for that crazy one in Dan, right? And that one in
what isn't Tsunade also a gilf?
Oh, she is, Jarkey, but she's using a jutsu to change her appearance, right? But who cares?
Oh, that's
she gets sometimes when she runs out of power, she gets old, and then she gets mad if you look at it.
Tsunade old. Come on, I want to see the actual.
I don't think they ever actually show it in full. I think it's like you only see like a hand get old, and she says, "Don't look at me."
Yeah,
so
it's like they don't show her eyes. She just looks dead. These aren't proper gilfs though. Boo.
True.
Boo.
Tsunade doesn't have any kids. Her boyfriend died right in front of her, and then her little brother died right in front of her, and then Jiraiya didn't die in front of her.
See,
but she was still sad about it.
They should just make more actually old characters in general. I think this is what I like. You know, the fact I say that these characters, they feel older than whatever their actual things are, but like I think that's a good thing. They just feel like they feel weathered by the world, which I think is what is the epitome of the vibes.
Yeah. I think that was my last point on the dub. So, you know, it'll probably come up as we go through. But I still have 2 other points, but they're very short. The other thing is very fleshed out and interesting world with little details, even though they're all in the background. Feels small and run down, and like everybody is on their last leg, fits the tone. True.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize, basically they're confined to the solar system, which is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
I like that kind of like
It's like Diebuster? Yeah.
Mid-level sci-fi. Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they actually, because the thing to say about Cowboy Bebop, and my last stop point here in our intro is about episodic stuff, is that like, oh, it's not really an overarching story, but the world very much is doled out in an overarching way to where the episode order does sort of matter for certain little moments. Because like, it's in the end episode, the first time they ever mention aliens, and you go, oh yeah, there are no aliens in the show. That's kind of funny. And they sort of address it and like make fun of the idea of aliens. So you're like, oh yeah, aliens aren't in this sci-fi show. And there's other moments like that. Yeah. I think it is with the Earth Gate Crash, where you like nobody mentions Earth until like that episode, and you're like, oh, what the fuck happened to Earth? And then, because even in episode 1, they say they're going to Tijuana, which is obviously a place in Mexico, but you can see it's clearly on an asteroid, and it's just like named after the place.
Yeah, well, I think it's also cool where it's like they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to Ganymede" or whatever, and I'm just like, as me with a very basic solar system knowledge, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's like a Jupiter moon or something. You know, it's
like
not
Saturn
like
or something. You know,
it's just not like, oh, we're going to CS 188 or whatever. You know, solar system
like shitty Star Wars or something.
If anybody knows CS 188, knows that reference, shout outs to you.
Star Trek, am I right?
No, it's a YouTube channel. Actually,
no.
Let's see if it's still
YouTube
up.
channels are lame. We don't like YouTube here. We like anime. I don't like anime. So I guess the last stop point here is episodic nature of the show. Is it an inherent hindrance? And kind of by that I mean, can an episodic show be a 10? Why would a show ever be episodic? And then I'm like, well, you know, it's good for TV because you can watch any episode in any order, and you know, it's like all designed for like TV as it existed when the show came out. It's sort of, or when shows that were episodic were very popular. Like, I don't feel like we get many more like episodic. Everything's like the overarching story is the investment part, right? And whenever I feel like all my favorite things, I'm like, man, you know, spending 80 hours with the great Don Draper, you get so attached. You love the great Roger Sterling. You love the great Ellie and Abby from The Last of Us over 30 hours. And you love, what else do I like? Evangelion over all this time. Berserk, Attack on Titan. These big, long things. They're all great. Long-term storytelling is the best. Even short-term, you know, you got a little thingy going on here.
Yeah.
But I guess it just depends on what you qualify as a 10, because I feel like a 10 is usually something that you're very invested in.
Yeah.
Can you get that? And then it's also like the discussion is usually that the plot or the spike plot episodes are usually everybody's favorites. So it's like maybe in an alternative world, if I like was God, I would make it so that Cowboy Bebop was a show that had a plot. But then it's like, well, do you really want to fuck with it? Like, it's pretty good as it is, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Episodic stuff, Jarkey Bacon. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a weird thing I have is that anytime like something is an anthology series, I have a hard time giving myself motivation to watch it because I'm like, oh,
motivation is a big issue.
Do you want me to watch 10 episodes of something that's me starting 10 different shows, like, right, that don't get a satisfying conclusion?
I could just watch 10 movies.
Yeah, and there is something beautiful to like a long running series that you spent a long time with, and you get really invested into each character. But I also think like with something with Cowboy Bebop is that it's just like, as I said, it is vibes, but it's also cozy. It's melancholic. I think the melancholic nature works just as well with the episodic one because it's mundane. You know, like even the fact that they get their first, is like you'd expect the time they get their first big bounty to be on screen, but it's not really. It's like, oh, woo, we got this bounty because we got, you know, it wasn't like a big triumphant moment where they build up to, like, guys, we really need this thing. It's like
Spike was asleep.
Yeah, it just happens, and then they're focusing on other stuff. It's like, it's the slice of life nature that adds to the vibe, I think, that makes Bebop tick.
Yeah, I think it being like very eclectic, my favorite word, in like, it's a lot of, it feels like the point of Cowboy Bebop is to reflect life, you know? You have some sad moments. It's permeated by a lot of melancholy about your past, because that's how people are. And there's like, but then you have a fun little interaction, and it's very, because there's a lot of moments, and some of the best dialogue bits in Cowboy Bebop are usually like poignant little lines, I think. Even the funny dramatic "a snake cannot eat a dragon" thing is like a, like, it's kind of a very interesting line in the context of that scene of like, they understand that Vicious is trying to turn on them, and Vicious knows now that they understand, but they're not really doing anything because they're kind of trying to be fatherly to him. So they're like warning him not to do this like he's a little kid, and Vicious is taking note of that, but he's still going to do it anyway. And then like, and then the even cooler line later when he's like, "And you will shed tears of scarlet," as he kills them and chops their eyes out. Oh, Jarkey Bacon went on up to that.
I've not.
I wish I had.
I don't remember it that well, so yeah, I was trying to remember.
Episode 25. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I mean, yeah, no, you're right.
I wish I had better examples of like small poignant lines. Maybe they'll come to me as we go through.
Well,
I don't know. Even like in
the wide blue, like the one that stuck out to me with like it's good little characteristic moments, like, oh, why did you have to do it blue or something like that? And I'm thinking, like, Faye
in that sort of monotone, sad state she's in for those 2 episodes is really great. I really do like it. That line's particularly never like didn't start. I was like, oh, because the place was the blue something. I was like, oh, that's cute.
Okay, because I was trying to figure it out. I'm just like, there must be something here.
Yeah, the place Gren played in was, and she's like, sad about Gren.
And it's like blues and jazz or something.
Yeah. And it's probably why it's
also has one of my favorite tracks. I think it is my favorite track. I may be generic.
Which one? Words you couldn't say?
Space Line. I love Space Line so much. Just the surrounding.
There was 2 other possible examples from that with those 2 episodes you could have said. That's kind of speaks to the strength, because there's the Goodnight Julia one, which is the one that Gren plays.
Yeah.
And then there's the obvious actual answer, which is Words That We Couldn't Say, which is one of the best songs ever. You know.
The score is phenomenal. Like, I think it is like my favorite.
1 million songs long.
Yeah, I do think it is maybe my favorite score in anime. Like, I love. That's what I should do for one of my my membership things. Like, did you do your favorite soundtracks? Yeah. Where was
I did favorite songs.
Favorite songs.
But yeah, there was a bunch of Cowboy Bebop. Call Me was definitely in the top 5. I know an Ava one was number 1. What? I can't even remember my top 5 off the top of my head.
That Ava Tom, like, was something Todd, right? Was it that one? You didn't put
that was in like, that was like 11th, I think, but it's just Ray 3, which is the big dramatic Ava. I don't know. It's so epic. It's the Ray 3 isn't even in the show. Which is funny, but Rain was in it, which is the episode 5 song. But it's not the song, it's not the version from the episode. It's also not in the show.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even realize there's 2 things until I watched that one that you had. But but like even I was thinking about like the harmonica one in episode 6. I was like, it's just like phenomenal. Like, it gives this, like, you know, in a way, give this blue feeling. You know, like the melancholy, the sadness, the wistful nature. Yeah,
we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Because you even like messaged me one time out of the blue where you're like, oh, I'm listening to the Black Lagoon soundtrack right now, and I just listened to World of Midnight. It's like, oh, this is like, maybe Black Lagoon is good. And it's like, soundtracks really, and this is a very important thing for Cowboy Bebop because it has such a good soundtrack, and it is very much the case with Come Susa Todd in The End of Evangelion, where you listen, and by you I mean me, you listen to these songs so much, like, removed from the context that, like, it emboldens the when you go back, and you watch End of Ava, and you're, like, an hour through, and you're like, "This is the greatest movie of all time," and you realize that the scene hasn't happened yet, where it's a 7 minutes, and we're gonna sing the whole song, and Shinji's gonna finish it, and he's gonna see his mother, and you're like, "Oh my god," and then it starts, and you're like, "What?" And it's coming up to it, and he's choking Asuka, and you're like, "Oh my god, the first bit is gonna cue," and, like, you get the chills, and it's just, like, this added layer where it's like a commitment, it's like completely outside of the show, kind of, even though it's a product of the show, where it's like words you couldn't say is a song that I listen to constantly. And so when it comes in the song and you're like waiting for it to cue and you're like, oh, and also I misremembered where it was because I thought it was like after Gren got shot, but it's like in the lead up to them going to the thing, which is very funny. But Call Me is one of the most massive examples of this of all time, where it's like, what an incredible song.
I don't want to listen to it so many
times.
I don't listen to it until I hit it. You know, like I got to keep it in the pocket. I got to keep it reserved because when I had I put Call Me at the end of my Legend of Korra video, which I don't think you actually watched, but that Legend of Korra video was made just after like I'd watched Cowboy Bebop. So I've got Space Line in it. I've got everything in it because like it's one of those things that you're like, oh my word, like I'm feeling, when you watch it the first time, you're feeling such feelings, and then you go listen to it because then you want that to, then you feel a little bit what you felt, and then you just start listening to it again. It's like, it's so good, but then you want there to be enough distance almost now. Like I kind of wish, I'm so glad in some ways, but I don't want to listen to too much Cowboy Bebop stuff, so that when it comes up in the show, it's a more raw feeling, and I'm just like, I didn't quite remember how Space Line was used, and I was like, oh, when they're going to the, you know, like when the singing starts happening in the background and all the percussion comes in and then it goes to the credit and you're just watching these credits roll.
Song, it's so good.
And you're just enveloped in it, and it's got, you know, I assume it's a lot of native singing or like inspiration from like First Nation stuff.
Chanting and stuff.
But yeah, it was, you know, I love that one so much. It's just pure peak vibe where you're just you're as some way saying you are wallowing in the melancholy. You are
sadness.
in sadness. Sorry, you're just sitting there.
I do say melancholy a lot in that video, I think.
Yeah. Well, you're sitting there and you're just like absorbing and just being present in that moment, and then that creates a very special experience.
Oh my god, Jarkey Bacon, I have the video up. Call Me, number 6. This is crazy. Number 5 is the end of Evangelion mid-credit song, if you don't remember. Have you even seen End of Ava? And I nearly called you Leori again.
No, I've not.
Well, in the middle of the movie, because it's kind of
I've watched End of Ava. Sorry, I've not watched the rebuilds.
Yeah. Episode 25 and 26, there's like a full song and full credits in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
So the song from that, Thanatos, If I Could Be Yours, which is actually a lyrical version of a song that's played throughout the whole show. Oh, the greatest of all time. But number 4 is Rain. So I had Rain above Call Me. Now, Leary, oh no, Jarkey Bacon, don't let me get away with calling you a Leary. You got to discipline. You got to say no. That's
no.
Bad. But anyway, the in Cowboy Bebop live action, they use the other version of Rain for the scene where they do Ballad of Fallen Angels in the last episode. And it's like crazy because it's like the version that everybody likes better. And by everybody, I mean me, but I'm pretty sure I've heard other people say
that. So is it a different singer?
Oh, completely. In the episode, it's the composer of the whole soundtrack. It's a female Japanese voice. But on the soundtrack, it's the guy that sings Call Me. It's Steve Conti.
Okay.
And it's just so much better. I don't know. And the fact that the live action, because I was waiting and I was like, oh my god, which version are they going to use? Is it possible that they do the and then they cued it and I was like, oh my god, I should not be getting chills right now from the shitty cow. This is like the bad episode too. It's like, oh, they've got this inbuilt thingy. That is a big thing. Where I was watching something the other day and I was like, man, if this could like reference the thing that it's referencing right now and use the music, I would be sawing the fuck out right now. But it was like a completely different series. And it's like, well, you can't use the music. In wrestling, they do this all the time, where sometimes, like, if a wrestler goes from a different company, on very rare occasions, they will keep their music. And when that happens, it feels like a crossover, and it feels like this is the craziest moment of everybody's life right now.
It's like when someone gets revealed in Smash Bros. For the first time you hear their music play.
Yes, that would exactly be like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
You know,
number 5 was, of course, Force. Oh, no, hold on.
Forces, I unironically think that's very overrated. But I've not heard it in context. I've not heard it in context of
It's not.
the
It's
show.
in the show for one scene, and it's not very good. But it's used on all the episode previews.
Yeah.
There's a consistent. This isn't even used in the show for my top list here. But number 2, Jarkey Bacon, you'll appreciate, of course, Roberta's theme from Black.
Yeah.
You know that one. And then number 1 is the Ray song. So. No. That's no. I'm talking about Roberta's thing. So L,
yes.
some.
Yeah.
Of course, the best one.
Oh,
that's that little.
The thing is, though,
obviously
there are some soundtracks that actually don't really work well outside the context of the show. The best example, always for me, is actually Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's very bold and
interesting.
It's bold. It's actually a very unique soundtrack, I find, because the composer hasn't done many. You know, like, for example, the guy who did the Chainsaw Man one, he's also done other ones, and I think he might have done Heavenly Delusion, and he also did Orb, and he also did a Silent Voice, and so he has a style that you know when he is good, but you know the style, right? While this like FMA one, like he barely done anything, and it's a very grand, overly orchestral, like, you know, it feels very epic, but in like an old school kind of way, orchestral way. And then I played a video game, and I hear it, I'm like, this sounds like FMA. And this is like a video game that came out like 15 years after FMA, and I looked at the composer, and it's the same guy. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. So, you know,
what was the game?
It's called Triangle Strategy. It's like
of course I know Triangle Strategy, you idiot. Nice. It's like Fire Emblem.
Yeah. But like, if I listen to FMA's like OST outside of context, it doesn't really hit. But in context, it's amazing. It's weird. But Cowboy Bebop's not like that. It's good in and out of context.
I don't know, because people say this all the time. Like, this is an experience a lot of people have. I don't know if I've ever had a moment like, I feel like I always like it even out of context. But usually I don't know. Usually it's like work background sounds. And then like the lyrical stuff can just be put in like your normal playlist. So it's almost different. One we haven't mentioned yet is Elm, which is the one from the Jet episode. That is so good it goes in the lyrical playlist, you know, but it's just them humming the whole time, you know.
Yes. Do.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
it's
so good. Oh my word. We are swinging out over this OST, which is like we are having the most least interesting takes.
Cowboy Bebop.
Do you want? I'm gonna get narrow into a take you did have, which I didn't discuss. You said Ed's the best voice actress in this.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is interesting. I think Ed. I've not seen enough from Ed to come to that conclusion yet. What she does is incredibly good, but Ed's basically been a very one-note character at the moment. And so the voice acting has only had to do one thing, if that made sense, right? And I would say, like, Steve Bloom, when he gets into his, like, angry, uncomposed self as Spike, isn't quite as good. I don't think his acting is quite as solid. That's why I didn't like the Julia one as much, I don't think.
One.
Yeah. But, and I don't think Jet necessarily has the best range either. Like, I'm not sure how good all of their ranges are, but I do think, like, when they're in their zone at the really good stuff they're really good. Kind of like Ed. So I just wonder if I'll see a bit more Ed range. But it is crazy to see like Ed. I don't know if anybody could do that role.
It is such a unique sort of thing. Yeah. They did try to do it at the very end of the last episode of the Cowboy Bebop live action, Jarkey Bacon. It was fucking terrible.
But even initially, Ed's voice is like, actually, no, I think the introduction is fine, but sometimes I'm like, man, this is a bit screechy. But I like it more and more. It's like, you know what I was saying earlier, like, you have to give a dub 3 episodes to get used to. You need to have 3 watches of Cowboy Bebop to get used to it, or, you know, kind of thing. I
don't know. I feel like I always really liked it.
Oh, really? Yeah. I think initially
I don't know. I really like
ambivalent. I was like, kind of funny, but then other times kind of annoying or kind of just grating, I guess. So yeah.
I do like wacky characters like that usually. Like Nono from, and I didn't call her Momo this time, from Diebuster, the main character, is not like Ed, but like she has a very similar thing. Also, I watched that subbed. But I think I don't know. I just like characters like that. So, and I do think she only like I can't think of a moment. Even when she's sad, she's still doing like the Ed voice. And the closest thing I can think of her being sad is like when she's like, "Ein, you can't come with me," but then she sort of happily says, "Ein, you can come with me." But I don't see the one note thing as bad at all. So, she doesn't need range. She's the best.
She is pretty good. So why do you not like Spike so much?
I don't know. I think I've always just not liked Spike as much. I feel like this is like a parallel to something else, but I can't think of what it is.
Is it there's another character everybody likes him, it's you want to be cool.
No, because I feel like when I heard about Cowboy Bebop, it was like, Faye is so hot, brother. But
true.
maybe everybody's like, Spike is just the coolest guy, and I'm like, I don't like cool guys. Kill yourself. I don't know. I don't dislike Spike. If anything, now Jarkey Bacon, hold on.
Yeah, I know.
If anything, I think. What am I gonna say? Just
hey, Jet.
No. I was gonna say I think I like live action Spike more. It's a very different character.
Who plays him again?
He definitely
Johnny.
I don't know. He's a famous guy that people like, but they're like,
yeah, he's a good
actor. Cowboy Bebop. He's much more personable and I think relatable in the live action show. I think there is like a artifice. What a word that I'm probably not using right, to like Spike in the show where it is like he does feel impenetrable in a sense.
It's not. It's not the guy from. I thought it was the guy from the blind guy in Star Wars in Rogue One.
Oh no, in Rogue One,
yeah, that's Donnie Yen.
I didn't like that character. You know?
Unbelievable.
You got to go listen to all of our Star Wars discussions, Jarkey Bacon. What are you doing?
I actually did. Okay, little scoop. I was my rugby club held a beer festival yesterday, and there was some people I was talking to, and one out of nowhere, this lady I was talking to asked me, "Oh, what's your favorite Star Wars movie?" And I was like, "No, you don't. How big of a Star Wars fan are you?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, I like Star Wars a lot." And I was like, "Okay, well." Basically, I said, "Oh yeah." Rogue One and The Last Jedi are my favorites, and she almost died, and then she almost didn't talk to me after that, and I was like,
"You should have said Solo, a Star Wars story." Of course.
That would have also
she would have loved that answer.
Yeah,
yeah, you know, Star Wars people, they be crazy and stuff. Yeah. Jarkey Bacon.
She wasn't actually that mad though. It was a good band.
No, it's a real life person.
Yeah, she's an actual human. Thank goodness.
What was I saying? Spike, he sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, live action Spike. Live action Spike is more relatable and likable, I think, to me. And I think this might be part of the appeal of the show a little bit, is that Spike is like, he's not like an audience surrogate at all. We're not really inside Spike's head. He's very much an enigma. He does strange things that you don't really like all the time.
Well, I do think like people who watch be like, "Oh, I wish I was Spike." You know, I had someone who I loved and loved me. Cool. And yeah, exactly. He fights cool, and he's kind of like he's got this cool voice.
Let's go through the top 5 characters. You know, actually, I think there's 2 dudes in there. Let's not do that. I think that might be the end of our overall thoughts, Jarkey Bacon.
Finally, jeez. Yeah.
Because now, so what we're going to do now, what the plan was, I don't know how much longer we got left in the tank. We were going to go through episode by episode and talk about it and then sort of give a tier list ranking. Because I think it's probably, I feel like when you're ranking individual episodes, it's usually much better than a numbered score. And we already gave our numbered score. And we can sort of go through anything we particularly have to say about certain episodes. So obviously, episode 1 is called Asteroid Blues, Jarkey Bacon. It is the tier 1 episode about Asimov and Katarina, I believe.
Yeah.
And we meet the characters, and then she dies, and there's that epic shot of the bloody eye coming out of her, but it's like blood. It's like a cool shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I was thinking I should have made a tier list for this, but we could actually
run right now. We'll put them all together in the next one.
Yeah. Okay, let me make a list of this stuff. I would put we've got S, A, B, C, and then a D. Or do you want F?
Yeah.
F after C.
Well, I feel like it now I'm just gonna rank these. I'm not gonna rank them like so this is a tier list philosophy thing. nothing's going below B tier. But I know what some people would say is like, oh, you should rate it on Cowboy Bebop episode. So the worst episode, even if it is a B
Yeah.
tier general
Oh
episode,
no,
it
no,
should be a
maybe
B
not
tier
F then,
Cowboy
because
Bebop.
none F feels bad. But I feel like you need to like this is contextual. Like I feel like we need to use a whole range. I guess we need to rank them basically. We need to like maybe not like top. Okay, here we go. We can go top tier. What's the highest tier? Greatest tier.
Well, S would
greatest
be like
tier,
best,
and then we got
best, good,
top tier,
mid,
best, good,
mid.
We need more than 3 categories. No, mid is okay.
I don't know.
Best, top tier, good, mid. Why not?
I feel like there's one. If I'm doing 3 categories, there's like one episode in the 3rd category. And then like most of them are in the top 2.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go best, excellent, good. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, so
well, I would put episode 1 probably in S, even though I've seen it and I'm kind of sick of it. Yeah, I think it's one of the best. Like, if we were doing a ranking, I feel like it would definitely be in the top 10.
Of the whole show. I don't know if I do that.
It might be like 9 or 8.
I feel like
I know I did rank them one time, but that was like 5 years ago.
I feel like maybe it's because I watch this so often, but I do feel like I do think it's good. I don't know if I don't think I'd put it in best. I don't know. Like
I think the last shot does like do it. It's like, oh, that was.
It's good, but then I also think
like,
it shows like Asimov's voice acting is pretty bad.
Well, yeah, and the girlfriend's isn't much better.
Yeah, I mean it's got an accent, so I give it like I pass it. It's more passable,
it gets
you know.
passed.
And like the reveal of her like that and stuff. I guess it's kind of cool to see how like it's a good introduction to see how Jet and Spike work. It is weird that Spike goes to this random mystic and you're like, hey, does this mystic stuff actually work? And then it comes up again in like Jupiter Jazz. And it's like, oh.
And then again at the end.
Yeah, it's like a Star of a Warrior. It's like, I guess it is Cowboy Bebop, so it makes sense it would have like Native Americans in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting to see like how Jet and Spike go about things differently, but they end up at the same place. There's a lot of small good characterization.
Also, the mystic guy has a PS1 in his room. Crazy.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's just pretty standard episode though. I don't feel like there's anything that special about it. I guess. Yeah, there's nothing standing out. I guess the shot is good when she. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I like that finishing sequence a whole lot, and then they're back on the ship, and it's kind of.
It's jarring.
There are a few episodes like this.
Yeah. In a good way.
I think it's like because I was gonna say it's like episode 24 where it's like something tragic happens and they try to go back to their like normal routine. Yeah. The Digiro video, which is the eating the egg stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously it's better way later. So
I think it's also a bit weird because I guess it sets up Spike quite well, but it's interesting to see him like weirdly get attached to this woman that much. But I guess it is though. She reminds him of.
He does get very attached very easily all the time though. Like with Gren, he's had like I don't think he's even talked to Gren, but he's like helping him /her /they like go into space and stuff like that, and like he's helping the girl and in episode 8 that's blind.
Yes,
and it's very like even with Faye a little bit. It's supposed to be like the secret, like the cynical on the outside, secret heart of gold. Thingy, but it's made more interesting because in the end, like the cynicism kind of wins out, especially about his own life, which I guess like it's just internal more than external. But yeah.
Okay, should we just put it at excellent? Just because we then.
Well, are we doing a mutual one or a?
Oh, I thought we were doing a mutual one together.
Sure, it'll probably be more fun.
Yeah, cool. I'm putting it at 1.
That evens it out.
I'm putting it at excellent.
We have to agree. We have to agree. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This can be the thing. Just quickly on the other notes I only have 3. The texture on the boob shot is great. It does look weird because she puts she like drinks from the counter, and her boob goes on, and the old guys look at it. Why did I just hear something? What was that?
Was it through my mic?
Maybe, I don't know. I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. It sounded like it
I
was
have my
in
window
real life,
open.
like something clapped. But I don't know. That was crazy. Anyway, there's a ghost in here with me. Boob shot was great, and it has the same texturing as Faye's thighs in Jupiter Jazz, the two sexiest shots in the show. Crazy.
There you go. I
I've
might have
always
to do
thought
some
that
research from this.
it was a weird texturing on like the boob and the fabric, and then it's the same thing on like Faye's leggings when we're looking at her thighs. It's crazy. Also, Jarkey Bacon, Elm plays for like 20 seconds in this episode. The chanting song from the Jet episode. I think it's only played 2 times in the entire show, and here when Spike first reveals that he's a bounty hunter to the girlfriend, it plays for a brief second, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Sorry if anybody heard something in the background there. That was me looking at episodes. I just I need to see this amazing shot for scientific reasons. Oh, here he is.
It just looks different. It's weird.
Texture.
Yeah. That's my best attempt at describing it.
Oh yeah, hold up. That's weird. It's like
there's a pattern. Yeah, and it's the same with the thighs later. I think it looks really good.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's epic.
No, yeah, I guess it's meant to be blurred, like it's out of the foreground and stuff. But yeah, no, it's like it's because the shading's soft there. Like everywhere else, you got hard lines on the cell shading. But yeah, there's a lot of little things where like I don't know if they're like Chekhov's guns or not, but like in episode 1 where she starts drinking the alcohol a little bit.
It's like a hint that she's not pregnant.
There was another one. I think this was in the Heavy Metal Queen. Like there was something about that with the alcohol and the egg yolk. I was like, is this going to come up again somehow? Like it's a Chekhov's gun. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, they kind of have that in the Toys in the Attic thing where they have to drink the potion.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, so
it's like a home remedies, like
and then the Scorpion was killed by Vicious later as well, and I was like, huh? That's
true.
My only thing was like hearing music in context after being like 5 years without context is very cool. I'm like, oh yes, I remember this, as we were talking about before. Episode 2.
Hold on, I got one more note for episode 1. It says the old man in Pico, which is that's in like Pokemon. So I guess it's like an old tale or something, because it was referenced here. There's like an old man. Oh, maybe this is in episode 2 actually, because that would be the animal episode.
Yeah.
But do you remember this from Gen 3 Pokemon? Like, there's a dude that gives you a ride to Dooford Town, and he's like his Pico gets stolen by Team Aqua. So I think this must be like an old Japanese tale or something, because that's an old man in Pico. There's an old man in Pico here.
That's
so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
If anybody has context to this, let us know.
Let us know.
I could just literally look it up, I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, episode 2 is called. Hold on, let me scroll up and click over to the next one.
Stray Dog
Strut.
Yeah.
This is the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar guy one, who doesn't actually look like that. He got plastic surgery to make him tall.
That was the funniest thing. I forgot that completely. I'm just like, but what was his name?
That's also kind of in the live action.
Yeah. He is called just Abdul Hakim. Yeah.
Hakim, yeah.
I thought that was so funny. I laughed out loud. I was like, that's just a basketball reference, but like, yeah, because he does. I
have no reference for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, except I know the name, and I know he's a basketballer. I've never seen an image. I don't know anything about basketball.
He's like tall, because he's a basketball player, because he's tall and lanky. Kareem.
Yeah.
He was basically, I think he was probably considered I don't know, Magic Johnson and, have you heard of Larry Bird?
Yeah.
Those guys are also really good, but like Hakeem Abdul-Jabbar was like, I don't know, probably like the GOAT before Michael Jordan, maybe. I don't know, maybe that's a contentious thing to say, but he's one of the best ever. Yeah. Yeah, anyway.
But he's a famous guy.
Like. He has like the afro and like in his prime.
Oh, Jarkey Bacon sends me a picture. I gotta look at it, guys. There he is. Okay, I seen him.
I would very comfortably put this at maybe a mid to good episode. That's
it's probably the bottom. It's the bottom of our 3 tiers. I think.
I can't remember a lot about it. I remember I think the animals were kind of cute, and I would say that there's that.
Don't tell Elite RE.
There's no bad dogs. I think that's the name of the of one of the songs, which is kind of grating, but also kind of good, where it's like the jazz goes super overkill.
Boom. Is it that one?
Yeah, it's when the drums go crazy, and then you have loads of screeching from the soundtrack. Yeah, that's maybe the only one I actually kind of skip when I'm playing, like doing work with it. But yeah, I mean, I also think that some parts it is funny when they're like running over stuff, and then like it's a bit of a chase, and
there are chase sequences a lot. Yeah,
I don't know. It has that kind of fun.
There was a great shot where it was like the dog running beneath the chessboard. Dream jumps over it, and then Spike just runs through it, and it's like, oh,
that was funny. I feel that, yeah.
And then at some point, then the silly dudes in the truck are chasing him too. This is another moment where Spike has like he shows his secret heart of gold. He saves the Great Iron, even though he thinks he hates him.
Yeah.
Also, it's continually cute that like they don't realize that Iron is like this genius, very like they're always broke and they could just sell Iron, but they're not going to sell the Great Iron because they don't know about it, but also because he's a little pet.
Yeah.
Spike like walking him is cute. It's very.
I think though, like this is like good humor that's like jovial, but like not like it doesn't hit as good as Toys in the Attic. You know, like it's just there's something about it where this one feels
it's very different vibe. This is sort of more slapsticky.
Yeah, more slapstick.
More like
this is more
profound.
Like this is a premise I've seen
silly.
before. You know, you need the chase and all that stuff. It's like more generic, I guess.
Yeah, but a lot of Cowboy Bebop is like stuff you see. It's like it's funny because in the Pokemon ranking video I've never made. I don't know if you've ever been on stream when I've read, or I think I even recorded and like did a test upload of it before. But I compared Pokemon a lot to Cowboy Bebop, and I gave them. I think I ended up saying they were both 9. So there's another 9. The Pokemon anime. But I was like, oh, they're kind of the same thing, where it's like tropes and stuff. Because Pokemon is episodic most of the time, and it's like there's a Pokemon. Like it's a Kangaskhan, so we're gonna do a safari episode where we have the jeep and we're running through, and there's and Team Rocket are gonna be poachers, and we're gonna sort of do this gag. Or is this like Cowboy Bebop will do that a lot, where it's like with Toys in the Attic, it's like, oh, it's the alien horror episode, and
I guess
then there's like the black exploitation episode later.
That's true.
Or it's sort of like these episodes, and we do a lot of like stuff you've seen before.
I guess also the thing that this is the one show, this is the one when it's only Jet and Spike, apart from episode 1, right? Like there's something about like I feel like what the other one works well is it like takes all of the characters and like gives them a bit more, because isn't it also they have like monologues in it about like you can't trust anybody in life. That's what Faye does, and then like
in Toys in the Attic,
Jet also has that.
The monologues are the best part.
They're like,
you don't get rich quick, and then the greatest Ed line of all time is, if you see a stranger, follow him. That's the lesson. And then Spike says, don't leave shit in the fridge. Cute. But it's also profound because like he's keeping Julia in the fridge of his mind, and like he can't get over it, but you got to get over what you leave in the fridge. Just like Jet's got to get over his girlfriend and get over his arm and get over his friend's daughter who he might have a crush on in episode 21 or something. That's definitely an episode you don't remember.
No, I definitely
because that's like everybody's least favorite Cowboy Bebop episode. It's like a Laputa spoof where the girl looks just like the girl from Laputa. It's very funny.
Okay, I'm tempted to put this in
like
mids for now. The Castle in the Sky.
It's in number 3. Oh yeah, Castle in the Sky, Laputa, you know.
Cool.
My favorite.
Should we put it? Put it in good. Okay, sure.
I have one other thing to say. First of all, I think I already said it, but the urinals in this episode. He makes a guy eat a cockroach. Or drink a cockroach. And also, there's a really cool shot with the fish tank where there's like another character in this episode who like has Iron but doesn't know, and takes him to the pet lady. And through the fish tank, and then Spike points up, and then it's like it looks really cool how the fish tank reflects them and stuff like that. But true. So this is going in tier 3.
Yeah. So episode 3, there's a honky tonk woman.
We're talking about rugby. Yes, Honky Tonk Man, a famous wrestler. It's also an Elvis song, right?
Yes.
It's definitely not a reference to the wrestler.
Faye's intro is very good. I feel like it's
epic.
It's a perfect encapsulation of Faye entirely.
Because she's so cool, but then she fails completely.
Yeah. And it's like,
but she's still cool.
She's like alluring, she's sexy, but she's also incredibly incompetent.
With the guy,
you know,
like, Zooey mama.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's like you assume a lot more of her than actually is. But yeah.
Yeah. Faye is like a very normal person, even though she's like extravagant in a lot of ways, and she sort of can't get around it, which is
yeah, I
really
don't know.
really cool.
Yeah. Okay, we can talk more about the characters maybe later once I have a better grasp on after we've watched the second batch.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, some of the dialogues, micropacing, and dub delivery can be pretty off. It's fine and still is fun, but makes me wonder why this dub is considered good or better than others. Is it because the voice cast is quite unique and iconic? Makes me wonder if the live action is actually that much worse. That's what I wrote in episode 3. That's what
Faye is. I need a bit of. Faye has my favorite moment in the live action, but she's pretty bad most of the time. It's a very different. It's a very much an uwu quirky sort of bad dialogue rather than a.
Yeah. Well,
we recorded this at 2 separate times. Bad dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because the live action, just from what I can tell, it's like if you're not going to be literally as hot as Faye in the anime, you're like taking away like most of the appeal for why people like Cowboy Bebop and Faye. Not saying that's.
I don't know. That girl's pretty hot. She's hotter than a cartoon, right?
I don't know. I mean, like I don't know. I feel like Faye's like even for anime actually though, she's pretty regular, but like it's just like she's so exaggerated in how she looks. Like she's just so long. She's like super skinny.
She's very skinny.
She's like
60%
leg.
Yeah.
Like all her fat is in one spot on her body, right? Like or 2 spots.
She is like the most normal. Like if you're like, oh, I really like Faye from anime, you'd be like, oh, well, that's pretty normal, rather than like a Moe blob or something. It's like liking Misato or something. It's like, oh, that's a woman that's like attractive. Good job.
Yeah,
rather than like, I love Oscar Langley Soyu. She's my waifu, and here's Ray, my 2 13-year-old queens.
Yeah.
Why am I struggling to think of another like normal adult woman that's hot in anime? I don't know. Mikasa was 15 for a little while. Annie was might still be 15.
Yeah, but like
what else?
Okay, but also like
Revy, that's a good one.
Yeah, but like also like I don't know, like but I think it's also like the live action woman. Yeah, she's like an actual human, I guess. But like I don't. Do they try and play up her sex appeal at all?
Outfit. No, not really. She has one dress that's like a cutout dress. But it's not like the Faye dress in episode 5 or whatever. And there's even a funny video that Alidori plays all the time on his stream because he thinks it's very funny, where the Faye actress is sort of making fun of the fans for not thinking she's hot enough and stuff like that, and being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not like a size 0 or whatever." And she's like, it's like obviously Faye is way too skinny, and like the outfit obviously wouldn't work practically. And like one of the worst things about the live action show is that Spike's outfit looks terrible the whole time because it's just the anime one. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just from the pictures, it's just like it's an impossible job, I feel like. But like, also you have to realize in some of these episodes, like, oh, of course, when Faye gets bit in episode 11, she's in the bathtub. Like it's so much of.
But it's character. A very tame bathtub.
No. But like, if you're not going to do it in the live action, any like sexy scenes, like that is taking away like a major part of the character. I'm not saying it should or shouldn't be, right? But then it's like,
yeah. She definitely is like a femme fatale sexy girl. Which she isn't in the. She's like an uwu quirky awkward girl in the.
Funny.
In the live action, yeah. She does have a sex scene. It's with a girl, Jarkey Bacon.
Yes,
calm down.
I do remember that part.
That's literally the best thing in the whole show, by the way. And I'm not even saying that to be horny. I'm saying that because it was sweet. It's like mechanic girl. Anyway, the episode, Jarkey Bacon. I love casinos. Casinos are so cool. Spike swallows a cigarette. There's a chip. That guy gets executed. This bad guy. He is a bad guy, and we blow him up at the end.
Yeah, that was pretty funny because they got the wrong guy because Faye assumes that's Spike.
Yeah,
and then she like deals like a little bit. Then Spike blows her whole cover. Yeah. I would say this is another good episode. Cool.
I think because it's you sort of when I think about Cowboy Bebop, I do think about the first 5. I'm like 1's really good and 5's really good, and the middle ones are kind of okay. I do think this is probably my favorite of the middle ones, though. I do like the next one too.
Yeah, the next one is quite fun. I'll put this in good.
I guess I would put it in 2, but we can
Yeah.
Average it down because I
Sure.
don't feel too strongly about it. I'll
Yeah.
save my ammo for later. So I don't know
Yeah.
if we're going to disagree because apparently you want to put the next one in tier 2 too.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I thought this was a very goofy villainess.
She's like super crazy. This episode is called, I'm scrolling to the top, Gateway Shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Session 4. Of course, they're sessions because we're cool like that. They're eco-terrorists. They kill a dude at the beginning. They're lots of killing people.
It's good world
Faye
building.
sort of is. Yes, Faye is like lost off in space, and people rush past her, and then the Bebop goes past her, and it's like, haha.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot when Faye got got handcuffed to the toilet. That was pretty funny.
That
and then
was actually
Ein
very
barked at
funny.
her.
Yeah. No, that was good. That was actually really good. See, I binge watched these like all together, so I can't actually really separate some of the small scenes in my brain.
Yeah, I definitely did one a day or less than that. So
yeah, I kind of. For our next one, I feel like I need to just binge all of them together like the day before, and then I'll remember all the small bits. But yeah, there's a lot of small cool bits in there.
Yes, but other than that, like she's very brutal to her own. I think his name is Harrison. Gets turned into a monkey, and then they send the thing. And there's a lot of like corruption here, and they're gonna send it down. But the best part of the episode, I think, is when they have her captured, and there's like tension because she knows that the thingy is gonna explode, and Spike's like smashing it and trying to shoot it and stuff like that.
Oh, that was funny. But there was one moment where like that was really funny. That was some good. I feel like that was good directing. Like it was like. I feel like anime is really basic, but they would probably overcompensate in trying to tell you that she's nervous. But here, like, just
because we don't know what it is yet, and it's just sort of like her face and the tent. It's really good. Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah. But then there's one point right at the end where she like is really sweating, and then like 5 seconds later it goes back to her, and she's like, the voice acting doesn't match. Like she's completely switched back to normal, which I found a little jarring.
I don't remember this
but that was but yeah, no, that was really good. I think,
and then
I think what I also liked about, I said the world building earlier, but it kind of like had different things.
They're talking about like the sea or space otter or something of the Ganymede Sea or something.
Yeah, and then it had also like the president of the planet that was trying to talk to her, and then you're trying to remember like. Because there's been a couple times like Spike has a pretty fun gimmick, like where he's able to take stuff out of people's pockets without them realizing. And this is like because they kind of show that in the first episode, and then it happens here. When
he puts it back in.
Yeah, and then it floats out, and that was kind of funny when they see it. Like, this is one thing I didn't get, and they do actually bring it up in the Toys in the Attic, but like I couldn't tell because sometimes they would be walking on the ground normally, and then they transition to a float. And I didn't get like how the physics of these spaceships worked. Because when they were throwing it across, this thing was floating, but they were on the ground like normal.
I don't think I have a good understanding of how gravity works on Earth, Jarkey Bacon.
Yeah,
so
well, I assume what was causing the gravity is this ship is spinning. Like the bits that's spinning, like makes it so there's like a centrifugal force.
Yeah.
Or like what feels like a centrifugal force. Around, so it keeps them to the ground because everything's on the outside, but then they go through like a door where it's not like that, and I don't get it. But yeah, anyway, I was a bit confused at different points.
Hashtag get Neil deGrasse Tyson on it. He'll explain it, and he'll say like Cowboy
Bebop sucks. Get Mauler on it to diagnose this with bad writing.
The and then this is actually something that's kind of a point. All the worst episodes are the ones that end in spaceship racing because they have to rush out of the portal and they get trapped in it. And that's when they explode and turn into monkeys.
That was kind of funny though, actually.
It is good, but like I feel like all of the episode 7 is also like this, and it's like, oh well, that's probably one of the weaker ones.
Yeah, the spaceship flying isn't actually the most exhilarating part. Like the best parts are the dialogue. I'm fully on the Kyle. Action is bad. Like even in the jet episode as well.
The action can be good. We've matured. This is a best guy ever talking point. I'm just parroting. Okay.
But yeah, like I think actually that one was one of the better ones because I was like, oh, how are they make it out? But it felt actually quite believable where like it was closing, but it just gets out, and then it flashes back to them, and they're trying to get out. I don't know if they're stuck in like a void or if they're just stuck in between like the planets. Like
Yeah, it's like
it's like a
hyperspace or something, whatever that means,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But it's been like yeah, I mean the world building like this is the thing, as you said earlier, like the details don't really need to be correct because it feels full anyway. And I think what good world building does is leave questions unanswered, but gives you space to think. And so it allows the like, hey, we'll just allow your brain to make it fill in the gaps for us. We won't tell you, you know, like we'll just make
it's kind
you
of a
think
vibe
about
thing
it.
too, right? Where it's like, oh, the gates and stuff, and that's how you get in, and you can get to places in like a few hours, and
Yeah.
And then you zoom in and you gotta have a thing to get on the ground, and the police will ask you, and you'll go clear for land. Well, that makes sense. And the
Yeah.
ships can also go on the water because you can't because they're big and you don't really want to land them anywhere.
Yeah, but then they also had
Oh,
like in the first episode that the planet they were on was a ring, right? It was an artificial planet, right? It's like a
yes,
ring.
well, it was on an asteroid, I believe.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like all of them, even on the moons, a lot of the time, it'll be like a single city, and it'll have like the dome over the top.
Yeah, like Sandy Cheeks and SpongeBob.
True. Like Under the Dome, the television show, also the Stephen King novel.
So are we putting this in excellent then? Sure, let's put it in tier 2.
Yes, but it's probably like the worst out of the tier 2.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You might think it's better than episode 1. I don't know.
Yeah, actually, I think I do. I don't know. They're kind of similar. Okay.
Disagreement. This is big.
Episode 5. I feel like
5.
should we just
Ballad
slam
of
it in
Fallen
5?
Angels.
Or is that like, are you going to be a hot take and be like, no?
No, this is the best one.
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, like, despite being like, oh, I wish there was more plot, I actually don't. There's a bit where I'm like, you know what? I'm glad. Like, I don't like them having plot in it. Doesn't actually care.
So, like, yeah.
I don't care as much. I mean, this one, Vicious is the most. I will say, Vicious is the most generic anime villain. He is basically Sephiroth.
He's so cool.
He has the same hair. He even uses it like a katana sword.
Oh, Sephiroth.
Yeah, he is.
Literally like a year later, whatever.
Yeah, it's quite funny. That they come out at the same time. I don't know.
I'm sure they both just come from Devilman, bro.
Probably.
Get over yourself.
Probably.
No, Rio doesn't have long hair.
Also, Vicious' voice actor is like the most like Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm edgy.
He's the coolest of all time. You're trembling. One of the greatest lines of all time.
Yeah.
Phase in they're in the opera. The dude's throat is slit right there.
That was so cool.
Oh,
yeah, man.
You're trembling.
I will say.
Oh, there's another line he has in that one. Oh, what does he have in the thingy? It's in the opera scene. There's another one. I've bled all that blood away. Oh, Jarkey Bacon, this is the greatest episode of all time. Then why are you still alive? And then they pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
It's the greatest
episode. I will say the not so good, probably the worst line, actually maybe my least favorite line, like voice acted wise, is like when Anastasia says, "Don't call me by that name."
Oh, no, it's so bad, Bacon. You're so correct.
It's so bad.
There's so much. It is because there is bad stuff in this. Like Mao is terrible. That voice.
Mao is for me as possible as someone who dies straight away. You know, but it is all. But it is like, not good.
So he's kind of in the live action, he's a girl, and he's much more important.
Is that the one who says you're black and you're male?
No, that's a completely. I think that's an original character.
Mao. Live action. That's very funny.
She's like. Yeah, she's like teaming up with Vicious, but then Vicious betrays all of them and kills them all. True. This is also obviously we got the first Julia stuff here in the flashback when they're playing Greenbird as Spike falls out of the window, which is a great one. The whole even Spike doing the cool anime thing where like the guy's got Faye and he's like put the gun down and he just shoots him right in the head and then Faye's boobs bounce. Oh, it's incredible.
I've seen that GIF so many times.
The Ace of Spade thing.
Oh yeah.
The little motif is cute. The fact that Faye's like humming is actually a good point to bring this up. Are we supposed to be rooting for Faye and Spike to get together? Because the show, I think you kind of are, which is something I was sort of rejected, but I think that is what the show is going for. Obviously, there's the parallel at the end of this one. Like Faye and Jupiter Jazz is very like, who is Julia? But I guess it could be jealousy regarding Grins, like liking Julia too. And then obviously her and Julia meet in episode 25. And they're like cordial. They're like she like helps her escape and stuff. It's really cool. But like obviously obviously she's like sad when Spike leaves and she like shoots. But it does play. It's like, oh, they're just like family on the Bebop.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's both. And I think that's what I like about Cowboy Bebop in a way. It's like it's a murky middle. It's like you don't really know. It's clear in one way, but it's not, So
it is just sort of like it's like, oh, it's the main girl and the main guy, and they say they don't like each other all the time. So obviously they're gonna be humping.
Yeah.
But then no. Spike is just in love with this one blonde girl and she died, and so now he's gonna go die.
Yeah.
Spoilers, Bacon, spoilers.
Spoilers.
So everything about this episode, except for those things we didn't like, is great. The kid stealing the porno mag, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. And then Spike just turning up
just has it in his hand.
And then he needs to look at it himself. He's like, let me judge your taste. He's not judging the kid for stealing, he's judging them for their taste.
Yes. Vicious is the coolest. Don't let Jarkey Bacon dissuade you.
It is a dramatic vibe shift as well when they go to the cathedral as well. And then it kind of plays out, and like when I'm watching, I'm like, is this where Rain starts playing? Like they do play it, but there's no voice. And there's a couple other ones that was happened in episode 2 as well. It played like a song, but the instrumental version. I was like, oh, it's not the main one yet. And then they gets sent out, and then he starts like singing or Julia. What no, they do that? Sorry, you probably already
remember. They do though.
But like they match Julia with Faye, so that is kind of indicating that like Spike thinks Faye is Julia at the end there, where she's saying it. She's like, Spike.
But then it's undercut with a joke when he's like, you sing off key, and it's like a funny episode, and she fake punches him or whatever. But they do play Rain. Like I feel like they only play it when the lyrics are playing.
No, they played it when he was going to the tower initially, the cathedral initially. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, that's the only time it plays, right?
No, because he also gets blasted out, right?
No, that's a different song when he's blasted out the window.
Oh, is
it? That's
Sorry.
Greenbird. Because Greenbird is like the humming.
Yes, that's it. Oh, yeah.
And then Rain is... Yeah. And then Rain is the lyrical organ song.
Yeah.
Are you not remembering Rain, Jarkey Bacon?
I am
remembering the other one.
Dude, okay. I live in the UK. I know Rain very well.
Fucking sick, bro. But only the Steve Conti version, not the silly one they use in the episode,
No, we like Yoko Ono. Is it Yoko Ono?
But it is really cool.
Yoko.
Yeah, no,
Ono.
It's something like that.
No, is this
Yoko
the lady?
Ono is the Beatle.
Beatle. I'm so sorry.
Beatle wife. Yeah, it's Yoko Kanno, right?
Yoko Cowboy. Yoko Kanno.
Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, that makes me feel less bad and less racist.
Well, I think the other girl's Chinese, right? And is she Japanese? Is the Beatle girl Japanese? Maybe she is.
I thought she was.
Now I did the racism. I was trying to defend you. Yeah,
she's Japanese.
Shit.
You know what?
Yeah, Yoko is obviously
she did
a Japanese
Visions
thing,
of
right?
Escaflowne. she did.
I
she
seen
did the ending.
that.
She did the episode ending of.
She's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, what has she done recently though? Ragnarok Online 2. Yeah, these video games.
Like
Sorry,
she did a video game, right?
Oh, she did.
Popular?
Yeah, Terrorism Resonance was the last one she did the whole composition for. So she.
Well, that's the same director as Bebop, right? It's Watanabe.
Yeah. She hasn't done a lot recently, I guess. She's done some video games recently-ish. Not really.
She's just coasting on that Cowboy Bebop fact stacks, Chuck.
She did a lot of ones like. She did Wolf's Rain. Oh, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex as well. Yeah,
I've seen one episode of that.
We should maybe watch that together, actually, because I've watched. Everybody's telling me to watch that one.
Well, I'm supposed to be watching the second movie soon.
I've not watched that one. But anyway,
I don't think. Yeah, they're not.
Should we continue on here? Do you have anything else?
Just one more note. It's really cool. And Mal, besides him being terrible, when he says, "If Spike were here," oh, so cool, Chuck.
If Spike was here.
Because until that point, when you're watching the first time, well, I had already been spoiled, so I knew that it was going to be a Spike backstory episode. But I've seen reactions where they're like, "Oh my god, this is Spike! This is like not
true.
just
That's a
an
good point.
episodic
Yeah.
thing. This is crazy." And then you think Vicious is dead at the end of this episode, and then he's just in a very static shot in Jupiter Jazz. And it's like a jump scare. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But true. Top of S tier. I don't think there's a better episode. Either of the Jupiter Jazz is better than that one. Crazy.
I don't know. They're all good.
The Fae one, both big Fae ones later are probably better than it.
Yeah.
Probably the finale is better than it. Sorry.
Call me as well.
Best one. Yeah, that's the second Fae one. When I said both Fae ones, that was included. Silly. Yes. Cool. Now, episode 6, Sympathy for the Devil. This
one actually
is one of my favorite ones.
This called me by surprise. So
I dropped it at this one.
So yeah, I dropped it at this one before, but this is my first time I've rewatched it since watching the whole thing. And this one is just a prelude to episode 20, the last episode, right, when Spike dies, right? But he doesn't die in this one.
Yeah, it's definitely referencing that.
Because it has the bang. There was a couple of things like letting.
He says like, "I feel light," which is like obviously the last line. Is the last little thingy is, "You're going to carry the weight." He's like, "I feel light. Do you understand? Do you understand?" Oh, so cool.
Yeah. And it's interesting to have it at episode 6. I mean, I guess coming after episode 5, it kind of links in.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting one. I wouldn't expect it to come from this like what feels like a really throwaway episodic thing. It's not like, oh, because Cowboy Bebop often is like, here's the obvious main plot ones and here's the not obvious plot ones. And this one feels like, well, this should be in a plot one, not a episodic
one. This one, yeah. Well, this one does have a little bit more plot because it opens on Spike, the Spike eye surgery.
Yeah.
Which I have some interesting notes on in Jupiter Jazz that I think I'll save. But yeah, I think this one's really cool. I like the little kid character. I think he's really creepy. He's really cool.
Yeah.
The other two dudes, they're like so sad and in love, but yes, Zebra and Giraffe, the great Zebra, the great Giraffe.
Yeah. It's always when he gets blasted out, you're like, oh, what happened? I don't understand. Like, how does that even work? Does he have psychic powers?
And then
the kid like a
they
psychic
hack his brain, and that's cool. They get the memory, and that's a reveal and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of vibes when he's playing what is he playing? The harmonica at the beginning and the end.
It's fantastic. Yeah, there's also, I actually think this is like got some really good Jet dialogue in it. I think it's this one, but like Jeff's like, I have a nice gift for you. Like, there's something like that. There's some funny stuff where he's like being really sarcastic with Faye, and he like seems like he really hates her. But then like, this part, what was it? He said, Jet is funny because he acts like, because both him and Faye do this like almost annoying cliche thing where they like say men are like this and women are like this,
Yeah.
There was this. What was the quote? Like just like, see, unlike women, when men know their way, they don't stop, or something like that. And she was like, "You don't believe that's true?" And he's like, "Yeah, I wish I believed that was true." I was something like that, and I was just like, "Oh, you took something that could be like quite a cringe line, and like made it like turn it on his head a little bit." There's a couple ones like that.
Yeah, because no, it's later. The one more thing on the paralleling to the last episode. I think Faye also has a moment of kind of worry for Spike as he like heads out with the one.
Well, no, that's the reference. Yeah, that's the reference. Like where Spike also like it's like Spike's going to his death, and like they have the exact same reactions. I think right. Yeah, but there's a lot of
plus the heavy stuff, plus the bang stuff, plus that was just another thing. Also we get the shot of the kid's backstory when he's like fried and when Earth is exploding, and it's really cool, and his parents and the way all that like flashback is drawn is really good. The parents are like silhouettes, I think,
that old
like
school anime flashback.
Yeah, and like him in the bodies as he comes up, it's a really good imagery and stuff like that.
And then like Jet's like, oh, this is my old buddy, hey buddy, and then this is when the dub's kind of bad
to distract him.
Yeah, I don't know, I couldn't tell if I liked it or not, but they're both like, don't they? It felt like both of them were fake or whatever. It's like, hey, I haven't seen you in ages, and like the animation is really bad.
Well, yeah, that was the point, right?
Both of them are faking to know each other.
Yeah, because Jet was like distracting this dude, and this dude realized he was getting distracted, but because this is supposed to be his buddy, he has to like come and slap him on the back or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute.
Yeah.
But I would put this one in the topper one.
Yeah, sure. I think the fact that it links so well with the final episode definitely made it quite cool. I have no notes for episode 8 or 7, by the way. So,
can I? The battery is going flat, so I'll switch to my phone. But I also got to pee real bad. So,
all right, I'll pause the recording.
You might want to write down this point when you have to edit it, so it's easier.
Cool. Do you have another point on episode 6, or?
Oh my goodness! No, it's the second best one so far.
Nice.
It's correct. Then we go to maybe the worst one, episode 9 or episode 7. Jarkey Bacon, get your numbers right.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal Queen. This is a cute little episode, you know.
I actually like this more than I think probably episode 1, 2, and 3. Just because I really liked the scene where Spike just really wanted his egg, his hangover cure.
Yeah, and he got on his pants, and that's gross.
Yeah, that was disgusting. But yeah, I don't know why. I kind of liked it, but it was a kind of a bit generic in the sense is like I hate all these.
I hate main character guy that I don't know is Guy. Oh no, he's Guy. Maybe this guy is okay.
Yeah.
Cute. Yes. I do like the performance. I do like the trucker thing, or they've all got their little internal thingies.
Oh, that was dope. Like, I was like, that's one of those world building things where like it doesn't make perfect sense, but it's really cool to see like, oh, here's a job that's really common and like a subculture they don't always think about, like truckers, but this is how they would work in space. And I like how each one of them had their individual like
yeah, one guy had boobs, one guy had like Chinese stuff, right? I think.
Yeah.
And then
like one was like a weeb or something like that.
Yeah, there's a weed guy, I think, too. There was a guy with a bunch of plants. Weeb and weed. Does anything go to better?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, we already talked about the great not stewardess. What do you call those? Waitresses.
Yeah, the waitress.
We love her.
Yeah, we didn't like her.
Julie, why didn't you tell me? I'm telling you right now. Also, there's like the face subplot where she's trying to get this big guy, but this big guy's got a tattoo that isn't the tattoo, and the little guy's a little and that little guy is a little evil guy, but he's dead now. So
little snake.
Okay. And they had to escape.
Yeah. And then like there was that one where like, oh, we were talking. Maybe it wasn't in this episode, but you were talking about like we're talking about Faye and like her being like the fan service and stuff like that. There's this one of this era of 90s anime where basically because the women are like looking over and you can see down their cleavage, but because they don't have like a bra on anything, it's just like their shirt. It's happened with Misato a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting because that's just not a thing anymore. I don't think in anime. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess they just got more explicit and it's like bouncing, right? Maybe.
Yeah, it's all just like, instead of women not being braless, it's like all of them have like the push-up bra on, so then you get to see down. Like I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was one of those funny things, and I think
we love 90s fan service. It's so much better, you know. Take us back. When Cooming was respectable, and we were just looking down the poor. What do you call that?
It happens far too many times. It's like, of course, like she's looking to the fridge, or she's over Iron's shoulder looking at the computer, Ed's shoulder looking at the computer, or something like that.
It's epic. It's cool.
But it was funny because I feel like she kind of did that to the guy where she ripped off his shirt. I thought that was a bit of a weird thing where I was just like, man, like invading his privacy a lot or whatever. But
that wasn't funny cool,
yeah, it wasn't cool. It's like, but it's funny because he's a man, and then he's got like that toothless
girly man.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I keep on looking at episodes to try and see this guy again, but then I forget to mute it, and so people might hear it in the background.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah,
but
the viewers will. I'm not used to recording. I'm used to doing this just all the time. Oh, yeah, there's the guy with weed, and he's got loads of tobacco. Oh, it looks like he has that rose from episode 8 in his thing, actually.
Episode 8?
Yeah, the rose that cures the blindness.
The plant?
Yeah, the plant. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, Faye has a face mask on this episode as well. Oh, that was disgusting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah, and Spike is in his underwear as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the little hanging out bits are really good in all episodes. We're probably not going to remember them because who knows which episodes.
And this was also the craziest part. Like when Spike goes outside his ship and he just breathes in. I'm just like, you would die surely. Like, is this not?
He's cool. He can do it. He shot and then he got back and they grabbed hands.
Oh, this one also had the famous shot of like Faye looking at the sundae. I don't know why. I see that picture all the time. It's very peak.
Sundays in cartoons always look so cool. Even in the SpongeBob movie, remember that, Jarkey Bacon? What was that? I don't remember the meme. It had a name that they would sing all the time. It would get stuck in your head. Like not the Krusty Krab pizza, but the something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't quite remember.
I won't remember. Is this the episode with the gay scene where Faye just like catches two dudes having sex?
Oh no, yeah, when is that?
What's the next episode? No, I don't think it's in that one. What's episode 9?
Episode 9.
Episode 9 is
that's the Ed one.
Oh yeah. Maybe it is this one. Because I feel like she's gone on a wild goose chase, but then so it might be this one, but that's always interesting.
But it's not in Jupiter Jazz. That'd be too funny for Jupiter Jazz, wouldn't it?
No, it's way too late. Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably trying to chase after a guy.
Because I feel like she's like trying to find that other one, and she's like, "Oh, he must be over there," and he's like, "Oh, another mystery or something," and then she gets in her ship. Oh yeah, you're clicking through the episode. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
It probably wasn't in episode 6, right? But I would put this one in tier 3.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll put it there. I'll put it at the front of tier 3 though.
Okay.
Was this 7? So 7 wasn't it? And then 8. 8's an interesting one because I actually think Rocco's voice acting takes us down massively.
People really like this one. I don't. I'm in agreement. I don't think this one's that great. I hate the stupid like the karate shit. What is it? It's the Bruce Lee stuff, right?
The Bruce Lee. That's really like this is like proper. You can see how people have the karate propaganda. Like it'll just fix all your problems or whatever.
True. This is like the 90s before the UFC, so everybody thinks karate is still cool.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's like, oh yeah, I can take down people way bigger than me. I'm just like, sure, but like if they're competent fighters, they will destroy you. Like there's a reason why there's weight classes.
You just gotta move like water, Bacon.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Just
also at the beginning they catch the guys and it's Huey, Dewey, and Louie, like a DuckTales reference. So that's pretty epic.
Oh, I didn't get that. That's funny.
Yeah, their names.
I do think once again you just heard the Cowboy Bebop opening in your ears. How loud does it come through? So was it?
I can't hear it at all.
If I just do this, okay, it's. I don't think it's peaking for them too much, but it probably wasn't very nice.
Oh well, they love Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I don't.
Just something I want to.
This one, okay, so it's got a lot of cool like spaceship, like cool world building of like old spaceships that crashed and stuff like that.
Floating islands.
Yeah, all this stuff, and then it is kind of sad that like, well, I don't like Rocco really. Like, I do feel sorry for the sister in the end. It's like a very easy and poignant thing, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever seen the Yu-Gi-Oh anime?
No, I've not. I've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
This is the Joey Wheeler storyline from like season 1 of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, where his sister, I think she's literally blind, and like if he needs to win the duelist tournament to get enough money to pay for the operation, and then don't worry, Yuki wins. Spoiler alert! But he still pays for Joey's sister's operation. That's pretty cool, right?
Okay, yeah, okay. The two guys having sex is in episode 8 because Faye's going on to try and find Spike, I think, or something, or.
Okay.
Oh no, she's trying to find the flower. I can't remember what's happening actually. But
yeah, she's trying to find something. Faye's having funny interactions.
There's a lot of pretty unique settings actually. I think in this one as well. Which they got that courtyard.
Yes, the ship thingy that she lives in is cool. The hospital. So were you watching the episode previews at all?
No, I kind of don't want to actually get spoiled. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. That's funny. Yeah, that's interesting.
I was like,
but they are cute. But the tone for because at the end of episode 7, obviously they do this one, and it's like an episode unlike the tone of Cowboy Bebop, a sad one, and I'm like, You've had plenty of sad episodes. What are you talking about? They'll do funny things like that all the time.
Funny.
It's very much like I feel like this is just an old sort of anime thingy. Like the Evangelion previews are really cute. They always like break the fourth wall and talk about it, how it's like a show. And like in this episode, we're gonna, do something, and we didn't get enough lines. And this is just a silly something episode. It's like, oh, and they're still doing the character voices. Like, oh, it's like
They
my name's
still
Spike, and I'm here.
do that for like Demon Slayer, I think, but it's like all really
Yeah, I
jovial.
think because I know Dragon Ball Z Kai did that. So yeah. But in Ava, it's like, oh, Misato promises fan service at the end of each episode, each preview, which is very cute. In the Japanese, it's like service or something, and she says it in a Japanese way. I can't wait to see Misato in the bar. Let's go. But they were all cute, so yeah, that was just something. They're always different. They're always interesting. I look forward to them. Also, the eye catch in the middle of the episode. It changes every second episode, I think.
It's cool.
I've always thought there's certain ones that are cool, and there's certain ones with text that I always thought were really cringe. Like I think the Jupiter Jazz ones is like, and there will be a new genre, and it will be called Cowboy Bebop. And it's like, even though Cowboy Bebop is like one of the most famous and greatest of all time anime, you're like, well, that's a little arrogant there. Calm down.
No,
and then also it's like,
because I think it's like, to me it was weird because I was like, oh, are you trying to be like an album, like a music genre? That's what it reminded me of. Like these are like album genres.
Yeah, kinda.
Like lo-fi hip hop, like Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah, but it felt like it was like, this show's going to come out, it's going to be so great, and everybody's just going to be copying it. When people don't really copy Cowboy Bebop, it's kind of like a compliment to the show that this didn't happen. That it's like so unique that people can't just recreate it over and over. They didn't even really try it.
Weird. Like why has I mean, like, okay, I would say something that is kind of close is Planetes, but it's not actually. It's like kind of in vibes. I mean, the anime is really weird. Like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, I do wonder if like Yukimura watched Cowboy Bebop and was like, let's do that and then put the Yukimura spin on it. But like the anime is really weird as well, where you do have this kind of melancholic, like it is, what is it? Very episodic, interesting characters.
Yeah.
But like I guess with Yukimura, he's much more transparent about the characters and their like mental situation, I guess, and getting quite deep and dramatic with it.
You're more in their heads.
You get more in their heads, and then Cowboy Bebop is like keeps you at arm's length. And of course, like it's hard to match Bebop because of the aesthetic. Like not only is the 90s aesthetic out of style, but also the jazz. Like jazz in space, I feel like it must be done a ton, but I can't really remember it.
Yeah, it's very stylistic and stuff like that. But the twist here, Bacon, is that I think a lot of them, because there are other ones with text where it's just like, and this is even in the intro, like there's a lot of text that'll pop out, and if you pause it, you read, it'll be like, influenced by Star Wars, Cowboy Bebop will be set in this. And that's when I realized it's just stuff from like the pitch document that they put in the middle, which is kind of cute. Because I really like, Ava does this a lot with its meta, where it'll like put the creation project process back into the thing. I don't know, I really like that. So I used to think it was really cringe, but now I think it's cool because it's like, this is like the original pitch document that they showed to like a financer or something. This is all just an assumption, obviously. Where it's like, oh, we're explaining this, and we're explaining like our influences in one of them, and then it's like, oh, and what we aim to do, and like Spike Spiegel is this sort of character. So I thought that was really cute. But that's something I've thought about for like years. Of like, they thought they were going to create a new genre called. That's so stupid.
That's kind of funny.
How silly.
Yeah, poorly aged like milk.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, we're just remember where we came from. This is like what the show used to be, and now this is the middle of one of these great episodes that we've made. Isn't that so cute? But yeah, Ava does similar things where it'll be like putting like the little storyboard in, not like it's different. They do it in the rebuilds and stuff like that, and they're like in front of a projector. And obviously, there's the end of Ava thing where they're all in the movie theater and there's a live action sequence and stuff like that. It's cute. I like it. But yes, episode 8. I guess he dies at the end. There's a weird looking villain who kind of looks like Kingpin from Spider-Man a little bit.
Yeah. But then the scene that kind of stuck with me is when everything's really kind of like sepia at the end, and Spike's looking up at the sky. Where he's eating
and it's like raining and stuff, or whatever that is. It is a very somber note, and but I don't know. I didn't like this kid. The sister's okay.
Yeah. Should we put it?
Rocco.
Should we put it in mid? Should we be spicy?
Yes, I think we should be.
Cool.
That's what I'm feeling.
Episode
It was
9.
relatively exciting. I will say, just on episode 8 quickly, the ending sequence and like the location is kind of cool, but then it's like, oh, we already did it. It's kind of cooler in episode 5, you know. But
True.
episode 9, of course, jamming with Edward. Edward's great introductory episode with the great
This was great.
NPU.
Well, you know what?
Yes,
the NPU at the
really
beginning reminded me of Spike's eye. I'm not sure if you're going to bring that one up, but
oh no, I wasn't.
The NPU at the beginning when it's his eye looking at Earth, it's like, well, that looks like an artificial eye, which it is.
Yeah. There's also that is interesting because the eye sees the past and this one only sees the past, right?
Yes,
it's drawing old carvings.
True.
Yeah. He's got this is what he kept in the fridge. He needs to get over it. Oh, I was going to say something, but I forgot. Obviously, Ed is on Earth. That's crazy. And when we come back to Earth later, we'll meet Ed's dad. Crazy on Earth.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And there's something I forgot about that I hadn't put together. It's like, oh, people are still living on Earth. They're just like kind of underground, and we see like a bunch of different places, and obviously they've all got different like recollections of Ed. And it's funny. He's like a 7-foot guy. He's an alien. He's a 3-year-old kid.
Yeah, that was funny.
And Ed's just hacking everybody. It's really cool. And Ed's really funny, and everything he says, she says, is cruel.
I think the thing is with Ed though is that, like, at least in this episode, this is like the most range she has had so far. I think in a way, like she's very empathetic towards NPU in her own way. It's really quite cute.
Yeah, I think it's really cute. Faye also promising on a whim and then trying to leave is very funny.
That was funny,
Also, I think Ein, to every member when we first meet them, does like a growl at them, which is like usually an indication in like a story. If the dog doesn't like them, then they're like evil. But it's funny how Ein does it to like every Bebop member. Because the Bebop is bad and they all end in terrible places or something. I don't know. I guess this is also like they're kind of doing like a bit of art commentary here, where it's like NPU just missed looking at them, and that's what the art meant, and it's like something to be said there. It's kind of that.
It kind of like ABC of the like conspiracy theorist. It's like it's not really written well at all. It's like this is clearly winner. I'm just like this could be done way more convincingly now. If it was like it's one of those things that kind of ages this badly because I'm like, I would never imagine this to be on TV. Instead, I'd imagine it to be a Joe Rogan clip,
Yeah.
Like
I did like that guy's voice though. It's very like a stereotypical for the time dub voice, but I like it. Like, and no, I can't do it. Yeah. It's very low in tone and stuff like that. I'm struggling to remember what to say about this episode, Jarkey Bacon, but we loved it.
Yeah, it was good. There's a great quote by Faye in this. It's like because does Spike go on his own at some point or something?
Spike doesn't want to go to Earth.
Yes, that's like, it. And then Faye, and then it's like, well, is the bounty's 8 million or 8 billion or whatever? And Faye says, well, 8's a lot easier to divide by 2 than 3. And I was like, that's such a cool line.
Yeah.
It works so well. No recurrencies needed, and also there's more money. It like works on so many levels. And I'm just like, that's just good writing. That's just good line. And
clever.
I also said, this is my point earlier. Like, there's a lot of gendered language between Faye and Jet. Like, I'm like, this is what men do. This is what women do. Men are like this. Men are such idiots. Stuff like that.
I guess that's also a bit of a commentary here because, like, Edward is ambiguously gendered for a little bit.
Interesting, yeah.
Maybe. And then obviously Gren later, but
yeah.
Jamming with Edward. I'd put it at the top of the second tier.
Sounds good. All right. Now we've
got Ganymede LG. Now this is an S tier one if ever we've seen it, Jarkey Bacon.
Oh, I didn't realize you're gonna put it on this one as high. But yeah.
Oh yes, it's the Elm episode. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And Jet's sad about his old girlfriend, just like I'm sad about girls.
Yeah.
Hashtag relatable.
I think it's more
also got
like
the terrible dialogue we were making fun of earlier though.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think her voice acting is that bad. Elisa, whatever her
No,
name,
she's fine.
but
It's
her
Well,
boyfriend.
this one was more expositional
Her
bad, right?
boyfriend just
The
didn't match
boyfriend's a little bad.
his actual his voice didn't match what his
I thought he
aesthetic. I
matched.
thought like at least initially, I
he's
thought
like
he
a
was
little-
quite gruff, but then he turned out to be a little boy, not a real man.
Well, that is
Real-
kind of the
little
point,
man
right? Where
voice.
he's like, oh, he's trying to run away and stuff, and he's not an actual crook, and
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah. Yeah,
it is sort of small.
Now you mentioned the like expose where it's like his old friend. Oh, my old friend from ages is Jet the Black Dog. That is really funny. Now I think about it. But yeah, like the clock is cool.
They used to call you
the
that.
motif, and then like trying to figure out why like this thing didn't work. I think was also intriguing because I couldn't quite remember.
I do like the resolution too. It's sort of like a. He was so like being so good sometimes is like not what other people want, and that just is annoying and rubs people the wrong way. And it's also, I think, it's a bit of a commentary on like gendered stuff of like when you like the old gender roles are sort of like, oh well, you don't have to do anything, you just hold on to his arm or something. She says, and it's like, well, it's going to lead to some resentment.
Yeah. And I think
and now she's with a hopeless guy, and yeah, it's like the opposite.
I guess so. But then I think it also kind of reflects with Faye a little bit, where it's like, I don't know, there's something there.
Not every woman is like you. That's this episode too. That's a cute line. And then the bikini scene, Jarkey Bacon. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was. I actually, what was it? What did I like about it? Oh yeah, it's funny that like I just like where she was on the ship. It was funny when they like he took off. She was on the end.
And it blew her away. Yeah. And she didn't even have a line where she was like, "Fuck that guy," but she was clearly like pissed off.
Yeah,
it was very cute.
I think that's what I was like about the quote unquote dialogue. It knows when to not say something. It's obvious. Like anime, because it's often adapted from manga. It's like, oh, we make everything really explicit.
Something has to be said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a point I was going to bring up a few seconds ago that was going to be genius, and we can't move on until I think of it, Jarkey Bacon. But all I can think of is Ed and rubbing her face on leg and being like completely pointless or whatever they say.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
I think it has to do with the girlfriend. Oh, a big thing. Oh, something I expected you to maybe complain about in this, because it's kind of similar to other conversations we've had in the past, is like, why didn't they just talk to each other or something? Which is something I feel like you say a lot in plots. Or it's
I would say that, but these are grown-up adults.
I really like this aspect, and I feel like in my relationship now, I find this like very relatable. Where it's like you will have massive issues that you will just never bring up, and you'll just let it simmer until it like destroys it. It's like I
couldn't do that. Relatable. I don't know.
It's just like a vibe.
It's like, but yeah.
That's what you would think, Jarkey Bacon, but it's difficult.
We'll see. Yeah, it's easier said.
There's also always the risk of like, well, this is kind of a big conversation. If this conversation goes bad, this could end the whole thing. Do I really want to risk that right now, or should I just ignore this for a second?
Am I in the emotional headspace?
No, I feel better.
I think for me, what I do, I then think of that. I'm just like, well, I can't be bothered, so I won't even start the relationship to begin with. So I just like I avoid that awkward situation by.
No, but it's love, Bacon. It's love. Until it breaks down and she just leaves and she hands you the pocket watch. And obviously, it's interesting because Jet seems to get over it at the end of this episode. And this is sort of a reoccurring thing in Jet episodes, which there's like two more of, where there's the one with his partner and then the one with his friend's daughter, which Jarkey Bacon can't remember.
Yeah.
Where he kind of gets over it and is like moves on, and it's sort of like a thing. Whereas like Faye and Spike are absolutely not moving on. And I guess Ed does move on, right? Ed is sort of like wayward until she comes back and she meets her dad again and she heads off with her dad.
Yeah. I think also like, but I think that's also like with Jet lets people do generally what they want, like with Spike in episode 6, and he would just be like, you just gotta let him do his thing, right? Sometimes but in
Jupiter Jazz,
he doesn't though. I think that's the interesting thing though. I almost felt it felt weird that Jet was like that. I know he cares, and I think it's interesting.
Well, it seems to be, it's like, well, you're not prioritizing Faye and the family we have now. You're like going on a wild goose chase over something else. It's like, Like, I'm sure even if they had talked it through there, where Jet's like, we're gonna find Faye and then we can go and look for the thing, but Spike probably wouldn't have done it because what if Julia like leaves if he thinks Julia's there and she moves fast or something? I don't know. But yeah, it is. I don't know. It seems to be like Jet kind of is the most mature one, and he is the one that doesn't die in the end and doesn't leave, and whereas everybody else sort of has an emotional climax towards the end, except for him, whereas he's more. I don't know. It's also interesting thematically, like the larger theme of Cowboy Bebop is kind of, I think, that like, oh, you sort of got to get over your trauma in the past to move forward, but but because it ends tragically, maybe you can't do that or something.
But that's about
sort of like
carrying that weight of your trauma. You're gonna have to carry it regardless, right?
Yeah. But I don't feel like if
do you carry it forward, or do you just hold on to it?
Jet is carrying that anymore, right?
Yeah,
he's sort of like when
he
throws the watch in the river.
Yeah, that was great animation as well. I really liked that one.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, everything about that final shot and stuff like that on the pier. So Cowboy Bebop thematically does confuse me a little bit. It's obviously a conversation we can have much better at the end of the next one. But yeah, I'm not sure. But you don't think this is an S tier one, Jarkey Bacon? You're talking shit.
I was surprised you put an S tier. I was gonna put an excellent. Yeah. I do think
about the song,
yeah, there was the ship chase scene, which was another one where I was like, it's kind of good, but also not like that peak. But it's good. I don't know. I love Jet. So,
it's the song. It's the song.
We're gonna put it in episode 10. Gonna go up there.
Yippee! Woo-hoo.
Next one should be the most obvious S tier.
Toys in the Attic. I do agree. I
don't have anything else to say personally, but
the monologues are so good. Like everything about the delivery.
I don't think. I just thought it was funny. It was just like me and my housemate were just chuckling like a lot.
It's like because again, this is something I briefly said earlier, and I said when we were going through the episodes that have better examples, but so far I haven't had really any examples, I guess. Cowboy Bebop will say a poignant thing like out of nowhere a lot, and it'll be very blunt. It'll be like, oh, that is like life, bro. Yeah, I'm sad and thinking about things. I guess all of the love thing with like Jet in the previous episode to me was like, oh, that's just like for me, for real.
For real.
But even like, what Jet's one is his conclusion is like, you shouldn't try to make money quick because it's just going to end bad. And obviously it's like, it's funny because he just tried to do that and that's why he's naked right now.
Yeah.
But he's like,
true.
And Jet like knows the conclusion, but he still makes the same mistake because he gets caught up in the moment or something. And that's like, there's like a poignancy to the fact that like he's saying something that we all know is obviously true. It would be generic to just say it, but because he's doing the actions the opposite, it's like funny. And then phase one was, I think something about vanity. Fittest, yes, it's like, oh yes, I don't care about anybody else and whatever. But so clearly, like she's also a liar. Yeah. It is like Faye is a very selfish person. She acts out very selfishly. Like Jupiter Jazz in the next one, she will do it right. She will like put everybody in danger. So like Faye wants somebody to come and get her to like prove that they care about her, but she also wants to blow them off when they do it, which is a very Kyle entertainment thing to do. You know, I can't have a compliment straight. You know, I gotta push the person away and be dramatic and stuff like that. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that plays into like, oh, she's saying something she doesn't believe again. It's like ironic in a sense. And then obviously the third subversion is Ed saying something like crazy, like if you see a stranger, follow him. And it feels very Ed, and it's like also whimsical, and it's also like really innocent, even though it's something creepy, which like gives you a different perspective. And it's like, oh, that like if you following a stranger would be interesting, right? Obviously, it's like stalking and bad, but like if you were in a TV, like if you were the omnipotent viewer in a TV show, just following a random person would lead to some interesting things. And you can learn a lot by life by just seeing somebody's everyday.
Yeah, no, it's just like people watching. It's like going on an adventure, have fun. It's such an Ed thing to do, but it's because Ed says it. You're like, you're a child, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, it's also just like whimsical. Like she doesn't understand why that would be a social faux pas, or she doesn't understand why this could lead to something bad, and it's like she's also not scared when like there's like we're trying to do a horror episode here, and she's going to end up just eating the thing in the end. It's just great. And then Spike's is like Spike starts with one,
but then it's like undercuts it because it's just like, here's a basic life lesson: don't Forget what you put in the fridge.
But it also doubles as like the thematic thing of the whole series, which is also really cute. Where it's like all the other ones have been the reverse of straightforward because it's been the opposite. But this one is like straightforward, but then the meaning is in the opposite. It's like the switcheroo. And it's so good. And the moment when he realized, like the dramatic fridge reveal of like, and that's when I remember. It's like, oh, this is the coolest thing of all time. And then it goes out the back and it's spinning and it's got the cute little colored effect.
Yeah.
It's the best episode of all time.
It is good.
Except it's not. It's like the second best one. I honestly didn't expect to like this one as much. I remember liking the monologue thing. Even the last time and being like, that's like a really cool idea. And obviously,
I was looking forward to this one because like it came out Eye Patch Wolves, and I think you mentioned it as well. Like,
oh yeah,
like it's one of those ones that like, unlike Heavy Metal Queen, I like kind of forget about until I see her character design again. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this character. But this one, like,
it is a specific one.
The fridge episode. Everybody knows the fridge episode.
It's fridge, so it's funny because it seems small, but it's also like the alien spoof.
This
and
is
it's
what
also
adults, relate to.
Yes,
my spinach went off again.
Oh my goodness, Jarkey Bacon. It's also like it's I feel like every story, like every like episodic story has a thing where it's like this is the episode where it's just on the Bebop, so it's just in like the one location. It's like Pokemon every season will have one where it's just like them hanging out at like a nice lake and all the Pokemon just go and run around and like trip over or something, and that's like the episode. It's just like all in one location and there's no drama on those Pokemon episodes there's no drama. There's big drama here. How about an S tier, Jarkey Bacon? What are we doing here?
Slam it in S tier. All right. And
now Jupiter Jazz will just rank as 1, right?
Yeah, surely. I mean, surely then it goes to S tier.
Yes, of course. Words We Couldn't Say, Space Lion. Which one am I forgetting? There's a third song in there. I can't even remember.
Julia's theme.
Yes, Good Night, Julia, or Goodbye, Julia, or whatever it's called. We hear Julia's voice for the first time here. It's crazy towards the end. But everything about this, Gren is really cool. Faye is doing very dramatic things. Spike is running around. There's that dude that gets beaten up twice and then runs into a truck or something and gets killed.
No. He just gets a job, right? He just wanted to get an ordinary job.
Yes, and then he fucking died.
Did he actually die?
Well, I don't know. There's a big dramatic thing where it sounds like he gets hit by the truck, and then Jet looks away. I guess it could have been a slapstick moment. I was like, he got an optimistic worldview. He was gonna go straight, and then he got fucking killed. And that's
quite funny. I didn't realize that.
It's possible it was just a slapstick, like and then he got up and he was like, I'm going back to selling drugs or whatever the fuck. But yes, there's so much good stuff in this episode. These 2 episodes. I have notes for this one. Vicious was a lot of these are like little lore implications. So I don't know if you have more general things to say first, Bacon.
No, go for it.
So towards the end, we get sort of a compilation of Julia and Spike and Jet stuff. It's sort of an elaboration on the Greenbird sequence when he's falling out, and also the ending theme, of course, where there's a bunch of images that are all of Spike's backstory. So it seems Gren and Vicious used to fight in a war on Titan. Titan, coolest name. Attack on Titan, coolest anime.
I think that is also a moon of Jupiter.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
All these are Jupiter moons, actually, I think.
Yes. And he has the music thing that's playing a song called Julia then. So that implies that that's after the Spike stuff, which is very interesting because I would have assumed it was before. Because he would have been in the Syndicate already, or was he already in love with Julia when he went to war? And then is there some weird implication that Spike might have stole Julia while Vicious was off at war, which would that would be fucked up. Because the implication is because we see Vicious in bed with Julia, and then Vicious seems to be mad about it, and this is also how it happens in the live action show, that Spike steals Julia basically. Which is like cool, Mr. Steal Your Girl, or they could have been broken up and then he got with her or something. But we've also there's strong implications that obviously Vicious and Spike were very good friends. So that was a very interesting implication that I've never really thought of. But like while he was on Titan, he had a song thing that played a song called Julia that he would listen to all the time. It's also interesting because like his people killed Julia in episode 26. So it's like he still has feelings for her, but it's completely turned to hatred because she betrayed him in his eyes, which is interesting, and that's the same with Spike, because Spike and Vicious do just like hate each other. And there's not really any like warm moments between the two of them ever. They're always just trying to kill each other when they see each other.
It's like an irrational thing. It's like programming has been overridden.
Yes.
I definitely feel like on Vicious's side. It's like, yeah. Then he had the other guy come out. He was like Spike's person who's training or something.
Yes. Lynn's brother will be later in the series too.
Oh, cool.
In the last 2 episodes, I think he dies too. Spoiler alert, Jarkey Bacon. But yes, it seems like Vicious has a line like, "Oh, he doesn't work for you anymore, Spike. Fuck off." We also got a timeline here where it's like, oh, it's been 3 years seemingly, or at least since Jet and Spike got together. Sexy. Yeah. And then another thing here is, so Vicious is like listening to this Julia song all the time seemingly, but then he just like gives it to Gren without like much thought, which is interesting.
And then it had the bomb in it.
Yeah, but I think Gren put the bomb in it for later, right?
No, because what it said, Julia said to him, like,
yes, that is
never like he never gives stuff away for free, or like, you know, there's a reason why they give it to you.
But Vicious also seemed to have some warmness towards Gren, but he was trying to blow him up back then. There is a lot of things that Vicious does.
Gracious.
That's like Gracious. Does in contradiction, right? And I guess this is one of them.
I think it's more like he can't accept friends. So he does this thing, and it's almost like a test. It's like, will you use this against me? And I almost respect you more for trying to kill me with the bomb. Like it's like, what do you want to do with this bomb?
Yeah, because he kills Mao, and then he's mad at Spike because he says they're like a beast that lost their fangs or whatever, and obviously trying to kill him with like show fangs or something. So it seems like he's like sort of just like a survival of the fittest type guy. And like obviously like sometimes his human side slips in and he like has a connection to a person, but he has to sort of like prove that it doesn't mean anything. And that's why he's like, oh, I'll save you because my instincts took over because I like you, but I'm gonna bomb you because now I've thought about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, there's a scene here. One of the little clips here is Spike explaining his eye to Julia. When I always thought that he got his eye injured when he fled after Julia didn't show up. / Julia tried to kill him. But he's like, so it's even older. But also the eye metaphor is supposed to be that one eye just sees the past, and that's why he can't get over his past or whatever. But like Julia is his past, but it seems like that comes from an incident before that would be even further in the past, which is weird. I don't know. Yeah. People talk about the eye moment in the last episode like it is like one of the great Cowboy Bebop moments, but I've never really thought it was. So maybe I'm missing something is like my conclusion about why this eye metaphor is so powerful or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the rest is just like, my guy just wanted to get an honest job and got hit by a truck. Words that we couldn't say. This is the true power of Cowboy Bebop, which we already talked about, with just like the songs and recollecting them from like when you listen to them independently and then recharge the series with it. There is nothing in this world to believe in, which is a line Vicious says when like Gren is like appealing to him on the roof. Is Faye in love with Spike? We already talked about it.
Yeah.
Do you have a comrade? Is the final little not to be continued thing of this episode. There are a few other ones that I can't remember.
Yeah,
obviously,
well, there was a couple of like where it's like at the end of episode 11, it was just the end.
That's true. Yes, that's a cute little like movie thing. That was
like,
that was
see
great.
You later, Space Cowboy.
I feel like episode 24 is the greatest one of all time. See you later, Space Cowgirl or whatever, or someplace somewhere. I'm fucking crying. I feel like episode 6 had one too. I don't think it was Do You Understand? But I can't remember. That was cute. Do you have a comrade? Oh my goodness. But that's all my notes for these two episodes, and they're in S tier. Are they above episode 5? Do I have to make that decision? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like I should have more stuff to say, but it's just good fun. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I guess coming into this, I was concerned we wouldn't have too much to say, but obviously you can just like go through and say, "Oh, remember this part?" And it's like, yeah, that was fun. Cool.
Yeah. I just feel like I haven't had a massive theory on it. I feel like I could sit down and really think about these characters more. They take a bit of more, it's
yes. I think that'll be the next one.
Yeah, maybe
it'll be much better for that.
But then also, it could be like an arcane thing where it's like, I know there's stuff there, but like I need to I need to investigate. And then once I investigate, it will then line all up. But I can't really be bothered to really big brain right now because it's just fun. It's fun. Yeah, if it comes to me, it comes to me.
Something I thought about today, which is something I was going to bring up, but the black dog thing, I bite and I don't let go or whatever, that sort of doubles into the relationship thing in that episode, which I thought was good. I only thought about that today.
But
it's like, he doesn't want to let go of the past and this girl and stuff like that.
Well, he doesn't want to let go of Faye and his teammates.
Yeah, that happens later, yes. So yeah, there are little things like that. I guess because sometimes with these things, if we kind of wrapped up the episode part, let's just talk about the meta. In making videos like this, like sometimes it's fun. Like with Fire Punch, it was like, oh, these three haven't seen it, and I have, and I really like it. What are they going to think about it? It's like especially with Fire Punch, where it's such an interesting, like weird story, like, and every like the three of you guys were all like, you all like weird different things. So it's like, who's going to like it? Who's going to hate it? It's going to be somebody. With Gunbuster and Diebuster, none of us had seen any of it. With like Attack on Titan, the original pitch for that was like, oh, we're going to figure out what all the themes and motifs mean, thinking in Attack on Titan. With Berserk, it was like, oh, are we going to make Jarkey Bacon like Berserk, etc., etc. For Cowboy Bebop, it was sort of like we both want to rewatch it to say we've rewatched it more recently, plus we can talk about it type thing. With Steins Gate, it's more interesting. So this is sort of my last note here is to talk about like other series that and maybe get some audience feedback if anybody's still listening this far in.
Yeah.
Steins Gate is interesting because I kind of want to find out if I still like Steins Gate because I haven't watched it in like 6 years, and I feel like in my head
I watched Steins Gate before Cowboy Bebop, so same.
Yeah, so it's a long time ago.
And I watched I genuinely loved it, and so I binged every bit about it, including Zero.
Yes, me too when I first watched it, but I first watched it in 2014.
Oh, wow.
But I have watched it a bunch of times. It was like one of my 5 first anime. I was like in
same
grade
with
8.
me, but I haven't watched. I feel like you're on your 3rd time round. I'm on my 2nd time round. It almost feels like.
Oh, with Steins Gate, it's much more than 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I watched it a lot, especially back then, but it's been a long time. But with that, we were going to do it with Ari, but Ari watches the sub because he's a loser, and we both watch the dub, so that's a cool thing.
Well, the other one that we could do, which is Death Note. I don't know if I could survive that.
So Bacon really hates Death Note. I really want to rewatch it because I really like Death Note, and I think I will probably like it more this time because I feel like in the past I've had some hangups about sort of like writing things and stuff, but now I'm very divorced from all the like good writing stuff, so I feel like I could enjoy Death Note a lot more. The other one is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Jock.
Yeah,
your favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
The only problem I feel like the appeal of that
well.
is a little cucked because I've read the manga.
Yeah,
it would be better if I hadn't seen anything, but yeah, it's very different, and I've forgotten it. That was a long time ago. Plus, it's good.
It'd be interesting to see Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you won't. I don't know. There's another one where I've rewatched it. I rewatched like a year after when I watched it the first time. It was like my favorite thing ever. It was so good. I binge watched it so fast. It was like the thing that got me into anime. And then I rewatched and I was like, man, it's just as good. It hits so well. Everything's so great. And then I haven't watched it in like maybe 5 years, and I've really gained a much more like, I guess, educated.
You've shifted a bit
palette, and I think what makes FMA work a lot for people is that the fact it is like lots of people's first like TV show, long running, and it does a lot of the like basic stuff really well. Like there's like a couple fake out deaths.
That was my takeaway.
I knew I knew about fake out deaths, but for some reason I got by them. But if I watched it now for the first time, I'd be like, oh yeah, she's not dead, right? Or whatever. So like
I don't even remember the fake out deaths. So
there's a couple,
maybe this will
or
be
he's
good.
not dead or whatever. Yeah, so
anyway,
stuff like that.
I remember one death.
Is there another one? What's like I guess Steins Gate?
There is. I have one more written down, which is because Bakano I have written down here because
Bakano.
I feel like this is the one, like it's a dub. I feel like this is like a vibe that we would both like. We were originally going to do Bakano as like the 4 of us, but I think we kind of just agreed to do Serial Experiments Lane. I have already rewatched 2 episodes. And Lane is a much more interesting, like, well, what's everybody gonna think type show. I feel
Hunter
like
x Hunter 2011 would be another millennial one, but
that is true.
I don't think I'd want,
because Bacon doesn't like it, and I've only seen 42 episodes.
Yeah, I couldn't. I did like it because that's the longest anime I've ever watched somehow.
Oh, you're Naruto. Let's do it. No, me and Alita are you gonna do Naruto? Don't worry, Bacon, you're off the hook.
Yeah. The other one would be like kind of and stuff, but I don't.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like the theme for us is kind of like 2000s greats of like the best ones, like the most popular ones. I feel like that could be sort of our little thingy we're doing here.
I feel like
Black Lagoon would have been a good one if I hadn't already done it.
Really good like 3-hour videos. Like I watched all the. I'm a Gen Zer, and here's all the millennial anime that I've watched.
But I've already seen all these shows.
I know, but like for the first time, and then you go and rate them. Well, not even that, or like here's a review, and then you go through like generally like all the Western classics because they are quite different to. Everybody's like I saw compilations like, oh, what do you think the highest rated anime in America is? And they shows like Full Metal Alchemist, and everybody's like, oh, Full Metal Alchemist. It's like in Japan, it's like well respected, but no one talks about it anymore, you know. But then Brotherhood doesn't really get talked about.
People say that about Cowboy Bebop too, right? Yeah, it's like much more popular in the West than in Japan. Which is interesting, yeah. I'm sure there are other. If you're catching on to our vibe here and you have other shows, it could be interesting. If the audience
like Standalone Complex could be a good one, I think.
Yes, that's
the one guy at work who's this guy. He's like in his 40s, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I watched Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion, and then I really like Standalone Complex, like, and that's like it. That's all the animes he's watched. He's only watched stuff from like I think he watched Death Note as well." Yeah. And that's about it. Like he hasn't watched anything more past 2010. Like,
yeah. Don't recommend Evangelion because I can't handle that with just Bacon. I need Ari and Mia there to really love the show, so Bacon can be the little negative Nancy in the corner.
I might love it. Like as I said, like it's been a while since I watched it.
I don't think you will. I don't think it's your type of show at all.
Yeah. I do like
Bakano. I'm like so confident you'll love Bakano.
Good.
It's just like
goofy.
A little bit, yeah, sometimes. But shows in this sort of ilk, I don't know. We can come up with more examples. Let us know which one of your favorite will be. You know, you can have a lot of influence. We're gonna read your comments. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll read your comments about anything.
Yeah. And if you manage to make it into this 2-hour and 41-minute video, congratulations.
Oh, okay. I thought we were like over 3 hours, so I'm kind of happy with that. Anything else, Bacon, or we'll probably try and get this out by the end of the second part out by the end of next month. Maybe that could be an aim.
Yeah, I think easily. I'm on board now. I'm in the zone.
It depends if we do Lane before that or after.
Actually, the barriers is not me watching it. Is actually I'm busy for the next couple of weekends.
The barrier is me watching it. I'm slow.
Yeah.
But I should try and get.
So you get on it, and then I'll binge watch it all.
Yes.
Sounds good. And I'll be.
Oh, if you are finished, it does motivate me. I do feel bad, so that could work too. But we'll have to see.
Good. All right.
But true. I guess we should talk about you being busy off screen, off stream, off video.
Yeah. All right.
You did that. You did the intro, Bacon. Why don't you just do everything?
Yeah. Well, support links in the description below. Thanks.
Oh my goodness, we did this.